Melode, Is about black Americans who returned to Africa long before Alex Haley and Roots to found the first republic on that continent, Liberia, a nation on the east coast of Africa whose roots are in the United States. Most of the news out of Africa, independent Africa, and southern Africa has been a catalog of brutality, tribal war, and insane slaughter. Well, Liberia is free of those things, but it suffers from a different, less newsworthy kind of African sickness. The sadness and seediness, petty corruption, and grand larceny, black and white mischief. You'll find it all in Liberia. Liberia calls itself a republic. In fact, it is an oligarchy, ruled by a few, but the few that belong to 300 families descended from the original settlers. Families who are at the top and see to it that they stay at the top. 150 years ago, American philanthropists and freed slaves had the idea of a state in Africa. It was in no sense a return to a promised land, but an escape from a land that held no promise. The Liberian Declaration of Independence is modeled on the American one, except for some key language. It states that Liberians were originally Americans, who were forced by conditions to seek asylum abroad from their deep degradation. And so they landed on this beach as colonists, American colonists, who imposed themselves on what they called the uncivilized natives. Africa was as alien to them as it was to the first white settlers elsewhere. And just as in the white settlements, everything that was done in the name of Christian civilization. They brought with them their Western religion and proceeded to convert the natives to it. The result has been a unique Christianity with echoes of an Africa as old as life. But to those Pilgrim Fathers, America was the old country. They named places Maryland and New Georgia and Virginia. And they built houses that have that same southern look, a cross between the old slave quarters and the old plantation house. The absence of a colonial legacy has its disadvantages. No tradition of civil service, terrible communications, primitive education and medical care. In Liberia, they started from scratch with little outside help. Not even the conscience money its neighbors received from former colonial masters. All it got from America was a memory. The grand old flag with 49 fewer stars. The currency is the US dollar. The mailboxes are American. The cop on the beat wears a New York City Police Department uniform. The capital is Monrovia, named after US President James Monroe. Liberia is stable, stable without the paratroop enforcers you find in so much of black and white Africa. This is the Liberia most familiar to Americans, the Liberia of President William Tubman. He ran things as an elected dictator for 27 years. It had the look of 19th century America in blackface. Tubman insisted on things like silk hats and frock coats. Everyone, diplomats included, sweated it out in the West African heat. But the clothes clearly defined the classes. The only thing the colonialists had in common with the natives was the color of their skin. It was ruled by elite, by the top 300 families who could trace their lineage back to the Exodus. Well, Tubman's gone. He died 8 years ago and was replaced by this man, William Tolbert. The president still sets the rules for dress. The leisure suit has replaced the frock coat. There have been other changes, but mainly in look and style. It is still ruled by elite, by the top people who regard the nation as a private inheritance. The president disputes this, says Liberia is a democracy. It does have an American-style constitution, a Senate and a House of Representatives, and free elections. But there's only one party, and that's been the case for all of this century. Liberians resent things like the report that Ambassador Andrew Young described them as a bunch of Uncle Toms. And they're angry with President Carter, who passed through the country on his trip to Africa. No way to be treated by the mother country.
You see, the president passed through here and went to Nigeria and stayed there for days and came here for a few hours. That's your daughter? You pass by your daughter and go to somebody else's place and stay 2-3 days, and you don't even lay your head on one pillow in her house. Tell her, we don't like it, and she must change her ways. Thank you.
The top families, known as honorables, number about 40,000 out of Liberia's 1.7 million people. They have names like Carter and Phillips and Dennis. This is a wedding party that the Coopers are giving for the Campbells. There are impossibly complicated cross-connections through intermarriage in these family trees. It ensures that power and money remains in the same hands generation after generation. And the American connection is continually being reinforced. Most young Americo-Liberians are educated in the United States, and they often bring back American brides. That's what one of the Bernard brothers did. They've both just returned from college at North Carolina and Western Michigan to take up the family fortune amassed by their late father, the former director of police. So there's the transportation company, the car rental, the bus service, the heavy trucking of gas.
Right.
There's this extraordinary beachfront property that's going to become a holiday hotel.
Exactly. Apartments, farms, other real estate here and there.
This is not, I got to tell you, an image of Africa and Africans that most Americans have.
We do have a mixture of the indigenous African and then what some would call the civilized African. We are sort of a blend of, both.
One of the reasons for the blend is that marital fidelity in Liberia is almost unheard of. President Tolbert himself has only one wife, but he has children by many women and is said to be as virile at 65 as he was in his 20s. He's a Baptist minister and former head of the World Baptist Alliance, but he feels no moral or ethical conflict.
You know, one of the fascinating things about life in this country, particularly for an outsider, are the family relationships. I mean, how it works. So that a man may have a wife and a couple of mistresses and have children that are born out of wedlock that are nevertheless brought into the family. In your own youth, I gather, sir, that you fathered children outside your immediate family. How does it work?
It works well. Liberian life is peculiar life. In fact, we are a close-knit people. If you touch one, you touch more or less all. Those who are not related by blood somehow or another, they are close. We have what we call the extended family life.
The Bernard boys had the same father, but different mothers. One, the father's wife, the other, their father's friend.
It isn't a question of many wives.
No. It's the
one
children.
wife.
Yeah. We don't. It's not a matter of polygamy. There's only one wife. My father's only had one wife at a time, and it's not a matter of just.
He had one wife, but how many children did he have by women other than that one wife?
Oh, about 13.
Really?
Yeah.
Liberia has great wealth and has a reputation for being easy pickings for the international conglomerates, providing they deal with the right families. Firestone Tire owns most of the rubber, along with eminent Liberians. The field hands earn $7.50 a week. And there's iron. A foreign consortium extracts the ore, and the government extracts half their profits. And for special people, special shares were created. So a few benefit grandly from this joint venture. And Liberia has the world's largest shipping fleet registered under its flag, a flag of convenience. The convenience being tax breaks and casual scrutiny of crews and ships. And there's talk of oil, and there's uranium and gold and diamonds, and vast resources of timberlands that are just beginning to be exploited. But the fact is, most of the wealth that all of those natural blessings Liberia has stays up there among the 40,000 people at the top of the heap. And no one is more top than William Tolbert, this great-great-grandchild of slavery who can trace his roots back to South Carolina, has farms and rubber plantations, and family connections with businesses all over the country. He is president of a republic, but he lives like a feudal prince, or more correctly, an enlightened African chief. All up the West African coast, it is called dash, the small gift to a servant who has performed well. Crisp new U.S. currency to his workers and their families, and while the cameras are there, to just about anyone who asks. President Tolbert deplores the very idea that anyone might believe that Liberia is controlled by family compacts. Well, take a look at the country's biggest private business. The Meseraudo Corporation is involved in many things. Its biggest enterprise is fishing, catching and freezing shrimp and lobster for the export market. It also has a monopoly on commercial fishing for the domestic market. Vice President in charge of Meseraudo Fishing, Richard Tolbert, Harvard, Columbia Law School, and the president's nephew.
If you need to get any more people on a temporary basis, do.
Over at Meserado's headquarters, you'll find more Tolberts. Stephanette, vice president in charge of everything. Sietta Tolbert, working her way up through the finance department. And Lori Tolbert, in charge of retail sales.
It's rare to find a firm anywhere that's such a family firm as this one.
If there's any crisis, the family automatically binds together. So that if there are any kind of problems, it's just a matter of picking up the phone and saying, I need you, and everybody comes. And that's the way we've been brought up.
Business is business, politics is politics, and family is family. President Tolbert says he'll not run again when his term is up in 5 years.
We don't have $750,000 to give you either.
Among the most likely candidates are Shad Tubman, son of the former president and son-in-law of Mr. Tolbert. But the man most people in Monrovia say is the hottest candidate is this man, A. Benedict Tolbert, trained at Oberlin University, a gentleman farmer, a dynamo of a politician, and the son of the president.
I am the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee of the House of Representatives. I'm also the co-chairman on the Committee on Education. I'm also a member of the Committee on Information and Cultural Affairs. Out of government, I am president of the Liberian Federation of Trade Unions, also a minister of the gospel, an evangelist, a spiritualist.
That's a pretty full day you've described.
That's right. Personally, I am a child of the universe, and I belong to the school of ascended masters teaching called the Great White Brotherhood. There are several hierarchies in the universal cosmological world. And so you have a master in charge of wealth, who is called the Master Fortuna. You have a master in charge of governments and nations of the world called El Moya. You have a master in charge of freedom of the universe called Saint Germain. You have a master for justice called Portia. You have a master for wisdom called the goddess of Mercury. But this does not bring about blasphemy, nor does it make about Sarah gods. It doesn't bring about a pantheon of gods. And if it were not so, I would not have told you.
Tell me, in purely practical terms, and one hears this rumored about in the political circles here, that you're a pretty good candidate to be the next president of Liberia.
I believe I am because of the way I live. You see, God doesn't make many leaders. He makes few leaders. If he made many leaders, then he wouldn't have followers.
No, but in a purely personal way, does this cause some family quarrels or tensions?
Not at all. I am not ambitious to become president. I only regard myself as a presidential timber because I know I'm capable of governing not only Liberia but the whole of Africa. And if the great divine master of human events decides through the minds of the people to use me as a presidential candidate, not only will I rule Liberia, but I shall endeavor to rule the whole of Africa by uniting the continent.
Into one?
This is my goal, my objective, and my aim in my lifetime, to see Africa united.
With A.B. Tolbert as president?
Maybe.
A chip from the block.
And I gather you were a chip off your old man's block as well. Liberians at an official level deny that the country is ruled by nepotism. But at the same time, they point to a number of things. That in white America, it is not unknown for certain powerful families to be in politics and business at the same time, or for the same old names to keep getting all the good jobs, or for networks of relatives and friends to look after their own, or for men in public life to be unfaithful to their wives. It's just that in the United States, hypocritically, we try to cover it up. That, rather refreshingly, is not one of the American qualities those African pilgrim fathers brought with them when they came to the dark continent.
The government of Liberia has offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to the successful arrest of the leaders of the Progressive Alliance of Liberia, PAL. Those appearing on the wanted posters are Oscar Quay, James Yasia, W. Commoner Wisher, John Stewart, PAL leader Gabriel Bacchus Matthews, and S.G. Don. Those individuals are said to be the ringleaders of PAL, which organized the violent demonstrations on Saturday. The government of Liberia has offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to the successful arrest of the leaders of the Progressive Alliance of Liberia, PAL. Those appearing on the wanted posters are Oscar Quay, James Yasia, W. Commoner Wisher, John Stewart, PAL leader Gabriel Bacchus Matthews, and S.G. Don. Those individuals are said to be the ringleaders of PAL, which organized the violent demonstrations on Saturday.
Well, viewers, I'd like to say a pleasant welcome from Monrovia here. Today we are here around the Freeport area where the shortage of rest on the Liberian market has become a serious issue where Liberians, as you can see, thousands of Liberians are here, local buyers of rice, finding it very difficult to get rice, local commodity of rice, and they have come here to where they usually get the rice products from, and there's a huge crowd here, and there's no way that they can get rice. Some are saying you have to get ticket before they give you rice. Others are saying rice, in order to get the rice, you have to buy a flash screen. All sort of information is coming out, and so we thought it was to bring our cameras here out in the Freeport area here, where thousands of
The Guinean Armed Forces arrived this morning and was available for assistance if the need arises. Addressing the joint session of the House of Representatives and the Senate, who reconvened following a short recess this morning, President Talbot also disclosed that the Iberian head of state, Felix Houphouët-Boigny, has also offered his support as an expression of solidarity, unity, and friendship with the Liberian people. The President of Togo, Mr. Nansingbe Iyadema, has also offered his assistance and support, Dr. Talbot added. On the local front, the chief executive noted that messages have come from all counties, organizations, militiamen, citizens, and groups indicating their commitment to fully participate in maintaining security and protecting life and property. Lamenting the disaster the weekend incident had resulted into, the President said, with self-confidence and determination, government and the people will rapidly reconstruct the economy and regain their national stature. The President emphasized at the same time that the curfew imposed in Monrovia from 6 in the evening to 6 in the morning will be fully enforced until otherwise declared, and any unauthorized persons found on the streets during this period will be promptly arrested. Prior to the special message of the President to the legislature, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dr. Richard A. Henry, informed members of the House that because of the civil disturbances in the city, they have to cut short their recess to return to the seat of government. Responding to Speaker Henry, the First Deputy Speaker of the House, H. Cecily Williamson Jr., said that the people from the political subdivisions of the country regret the disturbances. The Vice President of Liberia and President of the Liberian Senate, Benedict Rana, also informed the Senate of the situation that necessitated their return to the seat of government. More messages and telegrams from Liberians in and outside the country deploring the civil disturbance at the weekend have continued to pour into the Chief Executive's office at the mansion here, according to the President's Senior Secretary. In one message from Granjide County Superintendent Tikuda Jaro, he described the situation as bad news and assured the President that appropriate measures were being taken in his county and that concerned authorities have been contacted to make sure that no one crossed the borders from that county. From Grand Bassa County, Superintendent Joseph Bazzi and his people pledged their complete support and loyalty to the Talbot administration. Ambassador James B. Freeman in East Africa told the Chief Executive that he had learned with shock and disbelief the unfortunate event which occurred in the capital recently, seriously disrupting the peace of the Liberian society. He told President Talbot, in this hour of national tragedy, my staff joins me in sharing with you and the affected families the grief and pains we feel over the deaths of some of their precious and promising citizens. In Monrovia, the Grand Chief Templar of the IOG team, Most Worshipful Brother Makinda A. Bishing, said that as a fraternal body, his organization deeply regrets, deplore, and denounce the unlawful acts and vandalism which occurred in our peaceful and stable country by a handful of bad and wicked men who are the instigators of the whole ugly affair. He prayed that the Almighty God will strengthen the President and gave him more courage during these days of sinfulness and ugliness in the country. In another message from Superintendent Thomas Ndana and the chairman of the local Treaty Party of Lifford County, Thomas Kelly, the citizens and partisans of that county said they heard with dismay and disappointment the demonstration which was staged in the capital by few malicious and unscrupulous enemies of the state, which resulted into injuries and damage of property. The message said, we the leaders and citizens of Lifford County completely dissociate ourselves with this malicious act, and we want to assure you, Mr. President, of our continuous loyalty to you and your administration, and to further assure you that we will do everything within our power to maintain peace and stability in our country. From Sinai County, Senator and Mrs. Harriet Hugh Grisby said it was very regrettable that at a time like this, when huge preparations are being made for hosting the OAU, narrow-minded and debased citizens should attempt to upset all efforts towards a successful outcome of this event where the efforts will not succeed. From the capital, this is what the President had to say. Demonstrating their solidarity and fraternity with our government and people, In this hour of national crisis, our friend and brother, President and Secretary of our neighboring sister state, the People's Revolutionary Republic of Guinea, speedily dispatched to us on Sunday morning, the 15th instant, the high delegation headed by His Excellency Donald Kamara, Speaker of the National Assembly and member of the Political Bureau, and conveyed to us a sweeping message expressing solidarity with the government, the Tourist Party, and the people of Liberia and myself. Greatly concerned over the serious situation, President Stewart offered us such military and other assistance as we may lead these violent demonstrations. The President visited Camp Johnson Road, Broad, Randall, Benson, and Gurley Street, Butchert Island, and the waterfront in the capital, Belfast. Some of the Liberian and foreign businessmen whom the President met during his sightseeing tour this evening expressed regrets over the weekend looting and other damages. They told the President that they would continue to support and cooperate with the government in building a better Liberia and uplifting the living standards of the Liberian people. The President said he was very sorry for what had happened, and he reassured the businessmen of government's full protection. There has been no official estimate of the total cost of damage, but it is believed that the looting and damage in Monrovia of almost all the big business centers, few small shops, and all the international airline offices, as well as the Broad Street office of Air Liberia, could cost several $1 million. Looters got away with cash, checks, food, drinks, clothes, shoes, jewelry, important documents, and they smashed the windows and windshields of many vehicles throughout the city. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Commerce, Industry, and Transportation has assured the consuming public that stores, some strategic stores, will be open tomorrow to make needed commodities to the public. The Army Chief of Staff, General Henry K. Johnson, has denied that the Director of Police, Mr. Ronnie E. Dunster, shot and killed an Army officer. In a statement made over nationwide radio and television, General Johnson pointed out that it was the intention of those vicious and wicked people who have caused disturbances in our country to spread false rumors which are bent on dividing the public and confusing the Liberian people. He added that it was incumbent upon him to inform the public that these evil-minded people are pursuing these tactics to bring about greater destruction, disunity, and disharmony among the officers and men and women of the Army and police. He explained that at this critical time in the history of the country, it is necessary to guard against these forces of mischief. Concluding, the Army Chief of Staff noted that the Army and police at this stage have no recourse but to direct all energies toward the restoration of law and order in the country in the task of preserving the nation's heritage, its peaceful atmosphere, and security for the Liberian people. The Monrovia City Council today held a special call meeting in an effort to restore the general appearance of the city of Monrovia. Addressing the special session, Mr. Francis Horton, Chairman of the City Council, challenged the City Council to meet the recent event which occurred over the weekend with a new sense of awareness. He further called on the Council to continue to be responsive to the realities and collectively tackle the present state of affairs of the city with oneness and concerted efforts. Chairman Horton assured the central government and the mayor of the Council's support and cooperation in bringing economic and social activities of the city to standard, in addition to cooperating in the massive cleanup campaign being undertaken. The entire special session centered around discussing the condition of the city. According to the spokesman of the corporation, recommendations and pertinent solutions were made in an effort to normalize the peace and security of the city of Monrovia. Carrington University College in Swakopmund County has been temporarily closed until further notice. According to our correspondent, a memorandum issued to the faculty, staff and student body of the college by Dr. Stephen Richardson, Dean of Academic Affairs, noted that the institution has been closed in view of the recent situation in Monrovia. The memorandum pointed out but because of the uncertainty to ensure adequate provision of food and other basic necessities needed for the smooth operation of the college, has prompted its temporary closure. This broadcast is coming to you from ERBC Monrovia. The Organization of African Unity today described the current elections in Rhodesia as a mockery of democratic processes because they were not taking place in a free and fair atmosphere. The AU has called upon the international community to disregard any outcome of the elections which are based on a constitution in which the white minority still retains control of the country. It added that the struggle in Zimbabwe was for genuine independence, where the black majority would hold real power and not the facade of terror. Zambia said it will continue to back nationalist movements despite intimidation and destruction of life and property. President Kaunda has reiterated his country's commitment to the liberation struggle in Southern Africa. To end the news, we look at the main points once again. President Talbot today reported to the legislature that within the framework of the Mutual Defense Pact agreed between Liberia and the Revolutionary Republic of Guinea, and in the spirit of African solidarity, the well-equipped contingent of Guinean soldiers have arrived in Liberia to cooperate with the Liberian armed forces in securing life and property. The President, who was addressing a joint session of the legislature at the Capitol this morning, said if the need arises, this contingent of soldiers will cooperate with the Liberian armed forces to maintain law and order, adding that support and assistance have also been offered by the Ivory Coast and Togo. The Monrovia City Council has begun a program to restore the general appearance of Monrovia. The OAU has described the present elections in Rhodesia as a mockery of democratic processes. And that is the end of the news from Monrovia.
Station LBC broadcasting to you from Monrovia, Liberia. That was Ivan Fest with our late edition of the news. Our last newscast, a news summary, can be heard at 12 o'clock, and that's at midnight tonight.
A news package that covers the week's important issues in Liberia. Your producer and narrator, as usual, is Jerry Wayan. First, this important statement from the Liberian government. In this era of discipline and responsibility, government will not countenance nor tolerate in the interests of law and order any disruptive public demonstration without permission. The President said, notwithstanding dialogues and specific details of application to demonstrate on an issue that has not been decided by government, which demonstration will serve no useful purpose, some citizens have decided to demonstrate in defiance of the laws and constituted authority of this country. President Talbot made this statement this morning during an emergency cabinet meeting as regards the intention of some citizens to demonstrate using the rice issue as an alibi and pretext for the promotion of lawlessness and the defiance of constituted authority. The President acquainted his official family of a letter written to him by Mr. Gabriel Bacchus Matthews, in which Mr. Matthews misquoted and misinterpreted the report of Agriculture Minister Florence Chenoweth as to the quantity of rice produced in Liberia. The letter also requested that government should consider from him and his group a donation in the amount of $19,500 to assure adequate incentive to the farmers. Dr. Talbot told the cabinet that this offer had been rejected in an answer to Mr. Matthews, to the effect that government cannot accept any such offer as it is contrary to its solution to national problems. The rice situation has been carefully studied and has not been resolved by government. It was observed that Mr. Matthews' concern recently has always been for the consumer, ignoring the interests of the producer. This letter, it was noted, seems to be a departure from this stance. Continuing the government release, President Talbot said government has made it clear that it will look carefully into the rice issue and appropriate decision will be made in the interest of both producers and consumers. In his reply to the letter, President Talbot also reminded Mr. Matthews that threats and emotionalism could not solve the issue, as the matter was being resolved by government after careful studies, taking the interests of all concerned into consideration. President Talbot noted with great concern that there were leaflets emanating from the University of Liberia's student organizations, whose leaders admitted to having prepared and circulated calling upon soldiers and policemen to violating the law and to join in the proposed demonstration. This is clearly seditious. The release notes, and government reserves the right to deal with this flagrant attempt to violate the law by inciting officers and enlisted men to act contrary to the law and against the authority of the state. Government will not countenance any such violation, and violators will be appropriately dealt with, the President stressed. Meanwhile, in flagrant violation of government's order that it will not tolerate or permit any demonstration without permission, a crowd of concerned citizens, estimated at 2,000, broke loose in the streets of Monrovia, protesting against a recommendation made to the President by the Ministry of Agriculture, proposing an increase in the price of rice. Businesses are at standstill in the city, and parents have been warned to keep their children indoors, as constabulary agents had been ordered to bring the situation under control and ensure the safety of the public. On April 12, the Justice Ministry issued a strong warning advising parents to keep their children indoors, while the general public was asked to heed to the notice. The warning, broadcast on radio and television, further stated that any such demonstration was a direct challenge to and defiance of government's authority, which it will not tolerate. Meanwhile, effective immediately, a curfew has been called by the government of Liberia because of what was described as rampant vandalism, looting, and hooliganism. All persons are required to vacate the streets and go to their places of residence. Anyone found in the streets, according to the Ministry of Justice, could be shot. President Talbot has once again underscored the importance of self-awareness by Liberians that the development of Liberia is solely the responsibility of every Liberian. He said that while other nations may assist in Liberia's development programs out of kindness, Liberians must depend upon themselves, as they know people other than Liberians can effectively undertake the task of developing Liberia. The President was speaking Wednesday in Monrovia following his return from a 3-day state visit to Kuwait. President Talbot, who lauded the good relations between Liberia and Kuwait, disclosed that as a result of talks held during his visit, Kuwait agreed to consider funding of proposed projects and feasibility studies for tree crop development and infrastructure improvement in Liberia. Formalities for concluding agreements covering cultural and technical, economic, and trade relations between the two nations, the Liberian leader added, are to be started shortly. Yesterday, April 13, was Fast and Prayer Day in Liberia and was so observed throughout the nation as a national holiday. The day was first set aside in 1883 by an act of the national legislature for fasting and praying for the safety and welfare of the Liberian nation and its people. In this light, President Talbot issued a proclamation earlier in Monrovia calling on Christians in the country to assemble in their respective places of worship from 8 o'clock in the morning to 12 midday, and therefrom to 6 in the evening, praying and worshiping God. Citizens and foreign residents alike observe the day and abandon their usual daily activities as a further recognition of God's love and guidance. A reminder that you are tuned to Radio ELWA, broadcasting from Monrovia, and this is the Liberian News Review. During the week, President Talbot received messages of felicitations from the heads of state of Senegal and Saudi Arabia. In his message to the Liberian leader in response to an earlier message on the occasion of Senegal's independence anniversary, President Leopold Sedar Senghor said it was his wish that the links of cooperation existing between Liberia and Senegal will grow stronger for the consolidation of ECOWAS and the OAU. For his part, the leader of Saudi Arabia thanked Dr. Talbot for his recent message to the government and people of that country while overflying en route to Kuwait. The message from the Saudi Arabian leader praised the good relations between Liberia and Saudi Arabia and hoped for more improvement in the relations. The Minister of Agriculture of the Ivory Coast, Mr. Denis Braconon, paid a 2-day friendly visit to Liberia during the week for talks on providing assistance to the Liberia Cocoa and Coffee Corporation. While in Liberia, the Ivorian Agriculture Minister held talks with his Liberian counterpart Florence Chenoweth. Minister Braconon was at the head of a 3-man delegation. 5 unidentified men died Thursday and 3 others, including a woman, were injured in the motor accident in Bong County. The injured victims were later taken to the Phoebe Hospital, where they are presently undergoing medical attention. According to reports, the accident occurred when a blue and green Toyota truck driven by one Mohammed Siddiqui, marked TT17, which was traveling from Greendale, made an abrupt stop near a sign installed by the Potato Road Construction Company and turned over, leaving the 4 tires in the air. Driver Mohammed Siddiqui has been arrested and detained at the police headquarters in Banga City, while the bodies of the 5 unidentified men are at the John F. Kennedy Hospital in Monrovia. Meanwhile, Bong County Superintendent Joseph Yawate has sent a telegram to Sino County Superintendent J. Dominic Bing informing him of the accident. Bong County Representative Melvin Harris is dead. Representative Harris died on Tuesday at the Phoebe Hospital in Suwakoko, Bong County, after a brief illness. He was 71. He served as member of the House of Representatives from Bong County for 12 years. 7 officers of the Armed Forces of Liberia have been promoted to various ranks by Assistant Defense Minister for Malaysia Affairs G. Walton Tay on behalf of President Tobert, who is Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia. Lieutenant Colonel Prince N.A. Brown was elevated to the rank of Brigadier General. Others promoted from the rank of Colonel to Lieutenant Colonel were Stephen D. Blackway, Erasmus Bam, John San, James Harris, Eric Reeves, and Osman Fofana. Performing the ceremony in Saninkole, Assistant Minister Tay told the officers that their assignment on the divisional staff was a very important one with the armed forces. On behalf of himself and his colleagues, General Brown thanked Minister Tay for the honor and asked him to convey their appreciation to President Tobert for the preferment. He assured Minister Tay that they would adhere to their oath and defend the Constitution and state. The General Manager of the Lamco JV operating company in Yekepa, Nimbat County, Mr. Heinz Armstrong, has resigned. No reason has been given of his resignation thus far. The company's technical manager, Stan Foxman, has been appointed acting manager effective immediately. According to Lamco's Monrovia office, Mr. Armstrong, who is presently in Stockholm, Sweden, tendered his resignation last week Wednesday to the president of Grants International Mining in Stockholm, Sweden. Mr. Armstrong served as general manager for Lamco from January 1, 1977 till the day of his resignation, which was on April 7th. 12 business firms within the Monrovia area have been fined $5,000 each by the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Transportation for arbitrarily escalating prices during recent price freeze instituted by the Commerce Ministry. The business firms have been fined for violating the Commerce Ministry's Executive Order No. 2 on price controls and supervision, as well as prevention of hoarding, which was recommended to the President of Liberia last year. A cabinet decision reached on the recommendation demands that the violator be made to deposit into government's revenues the sum of $5,000. All business establishments have been officially informed of the decision. The governments of Liberia and Romania have signed an air service agreement in Monrovia. At the signing ceremony, which took place Thursday at the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Transportation, Liberia's Assistant Minister for Transportation, J. Wilson Lautner, signed for the Liberian government, while the Romanian Director of Foreign Relations in the Civil Aviation, Mr. Timbu Manoliu, initialed for his government. The final text to the air service agreement will be signed in the Romanian capital Bucharest at a later date. The occasion was witnessed by the acting Minister of Commerce Isomo Jones, who expressed gratitude over the agreement on behalf of the Liberian government. And finally, as we conclude this edition of the Liberian News Review, we once again bring you this important announcement. Effective this afternoon, a curfew has been called by the government of Liberia because of what was described as rampant vandalism, looting, and hooliganism. All persons are required to vacate or leave the streets and go to their places of residence. Anyone found in the streets, according to the Ministry of Justice, could be shot. There we end this edition of the Liberian News Review. Join us same time, same place next week for the same program. Your narrator and producer has been Jerry Williams, saying good night and have a nice weekend.
This is the LWA in Monrovia. In 1 minute, the time will be 9 o'clock, and we shall be bringing you this evening's request hour, your Saturday evening request program, just before the Easter sunrise service. You have tomorrow. We trust that we can play songs that will prepare you for the Easter sunrise service.
Station EOBC Monrovia, we interrupt this program to bring you a special announcement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
The Foreign Ministry said today that the following information received by President Sékou Touré of Guinea regarding the defiant demonstration in Liberia last evening, inspired by external agents or elements, a high-powered delegation arrived here this afternoon bearing a special message of complete solidarity with the government and the people of Liberia by President Sékou Touré, the Political Bureau, Central Committee, and the Democratic Party of Guinea, as the government of Liberia undertakes all measures to repel these forces that seem determined to undermine and destabilize the government of Liberia and thereby affect the security of the people. The high-powered delegation is led by Damantan Kamara, President of the National Assembly of Guinea and member of the Political Bureau. His Excellency Lansana Diani, Minister of Justice and member of the Political Bureau. Others are His Excellency Felix Sissoko, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Permanent Secretary of the Political Bureau. His Excellency Alfred Kuruma, Minister of Defense. His Excellency Ben Dauda Touré, Ambassador of Guinea to Liberia. His Excellency Ali Bangura, Chief of State Protocol of Guinea, and General Toya Konde, Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Guinea. Commandant Dumbuya, Idiko to the President of Guinea. President Holbert, who received the delegation shortly after he attended Easter worship service at the Executive Mansion Chapel, was deeply touched by the expression of solidarity and the manifestation of support expressed by President Touré through the high-powered delegation in the efforts of the government of Liberia to maintain the stability and security of the nation in the interest of the welfare and well-being of all the people of Liberia and the foreign residents residing in their midst. ELBC is broadcasting from Monrovia.
Rice priced in the interest of the local farmer.
In the price of rice,
Howard on Tuesday afternoon addressed the special session of the legislature. Here is now a recording of President Albert's address.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the National Legislature, friends, we are ever grateful to Almighty God, whose boundless grace has made possible your safe return to the seat of government at this time. But we are greatly saddened to report to you most stunning and unfortunate events in the life of the nation have necessitated at this time the reconvening of this 48th legislature almost 1 month earlier than scheduled. Over the Easter weekend, blatant actions of violence and vandalism swiftly swept across the capital city of Monrovia, have been perpetuated or perpetrated by criminally minded individuals aided largely by foreigners. These regretful occurrences resulted in the loss of 29 lives, the wounding of over 405 persons, and in the destruction of millions of dollars of property. May Almighty God grant peace and rest to the souls of those and heal the wounds in the hearts of the bereaved families. Amen. From the morning of Saturday, the 14th, well into the night, and the following day, city thoroughfares were bursted and barricaded. Stores and supermarkets were broken and looted. Homes were visited distressfully, and vehicles destroyed. And public buildings were savagely attacked. This ruinous trend was intended to extend to public utilities and vital city supplies, but its thrust has been solidly blunted, thanks to Almighty God. Although the situation is firmly under control, we are distressed that these occurrences have disrupted the peace and tranquility of our people and have dismayed the pride of our cherished stability as a nation. As we've come to know, the issue of a possible increase in the price of rice was merely the pretext for certain planned events designed by vicious and wicked people to destabilize constituted government and wreck the peace, unity, harmony, and security of Liberia. A few weeks ago, a group of individuals under the leadership of Mr. G. Bacchus Matthews, who had informed government of their desire to organize an opposition party, requested permission to demonstrate in the streets of the city against the recommendation of the Minister of Agriculture that the price of rice be increased. Realizing that such a demonstration was presumptuous and only could lead to immeasurable expressions of hostility, government decided that it would be in the best interest of our people not to grant the request. We also received a letter from another group of citizens indicating their desire to demonstrate in favor of an increase in the price of rice in opposition to the action of Mr. Matthews and his followers. Yet, despite government decisions that there will be no demonstration either for or against the rice issue, which has been firmly communicated even by the President to all the interested parties. These diabolical people led by Mr. Matthews reacted in complete defiance of government position in the matter, organized and attempted to stage the illegal demonstration, which resulted in wanton death and destruction and disturbed the peace and security of the nation. Posing as men of progress, they have maliciously revealed themselves as artisans of socio-economic regression in this land. Meanwhile, as I myself stated, the whole issue of increasing the price of rice is still under serious study and will assuredly be decided in the best interest of consumers and producers, in the best interest of all of our people. The surge of unruly crowds from bushwalk islands into the trading areas of the city, swollen their ranks by added numbers of hooligans, seem to have baffled the forces of the army and the police. Offers of active support were received from the militiamen of various counties, especially Grand Bassa, by which we were deeply touched, but they manifested the spirit of total endorsement and national commitment. Demonstrating our solidarity and fraternity with our government and people in this hour of national crisis, our friend and brother, President Ahmed Secretary of our neighboring sister state, the People's Revolutionary Republic of Guinea, speedily dispatched to us on Sunday morning, the 15th instant, a high-powered delegation headed by His Excellency Damaton Kamara, Speaker of the National Assembly and member of the political...
There's been a lot of trouble in the Liberian capital, Monrovia, over the weekend. It all began, apparently, with an announcement that rice prices were to be increased. People came out onto the streets on Saturday and Sunday and went on the rampage. Tear gas was used by the police to try and disperse the crowds. They opened fire, and a number of people have been killed and injured. And Monrovia has been put under a nighttime curfew. Here's Jan Parry.
At a cabinet meeting today, President Talbot said that at least 29 people had been killed in the weekend's disturbances and 376 wounded. He admitted, however, that casualties could be much higher, since these figures only referred to people admitted to the government John F. Kennedy Medical Center. President Talbot said that the rioters had caused millions of dollars worth of damage. Major shops and food stores, he said, had been wrecked and looted. Police and soldiers, he claimed, had only opened fire when tear gas could not control the demonstrators. According to President Talbot, the demonstrations were not really over the issue of rice prices at all. They were a concerted effort, he said, to wreck and overthrow the government. He described those who'd organized the demonstrations as satanic enemies of the state. President Talbot did not say who he believed had organized them, but an accusing finger is being pointed at a small opposition party, the Progressive Alliance of Liberia, which set up offices in Monrovia in 1978. President Talbot said that he intended to deal mercilessly with those responsible for the weekend's disturbances. Whether that means that widespread arrests of leading members of the Progressive Alliance have already been made isn't clear. According to reports, Monrovia is quieter today, but a curfew is still in force and soldiers have been out patrolling the streets. According to one report, a detachment of Ghanaian troops were flown in yesterday to help support the Liberian army.
That report by Jan Parry.
The government of Liberia has offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to the successful arrest of the leaders of the Progressive Alliance of Liberia, PAL. Those appearing on the wanted posters are Oscar Quay, James Yasia, W. Commoner Wisher, John Stewart, PAL leader Gabriel Bacchus Matthews, and S.G. Don. Those individuals are said to be the ringleaders of PAL, which organized the violent demonstrations on Saturday. The
Good evening. The news is read by Ivan Fisk. In the headlines, the President, Dr. Talbot, today announced that after a thorough study of the rice situation, government has decided that the price of rice will remain at $22 per a 100-pound bag in the interest of the consumer, and that government will find means of subsidizing the rice price in the interest of the local farmer. More pledges of support to the government and regrets over the weekend violent demonstrations are coming from counties with Nimba and Lofa appearing on the list today. The Defense Commission of the OAU is meeting this weekend to consider setting up an inter-African intervention force and gave concrete military assistance to the frontline states. The President today announced that following a comprehensive study of the rice situation by committees, government has decided that the price of rice will remain at $22 per a 100-pound bag. At the same time, he said government would explore means by which it would subsidize the price of rice bought from the local farmer to encourage him to produce more. Announcing these decisions at a cabinet meeting along with the executive committees of the House of Representatives and the Senate, the President said the move was in line with his previous pronouncement that the interests of both the consumer and the producer of rice would be considered. Dr. Talbot also declared at the meeting that in fact his government was continuing to find means by which the present price of rice would be reduced, and was also continuing its efforts to increase salaries of low-income people to cope with the high cost of living, as has been the case in the past. Meanwhile, the President has regretted the death toll from the weekend demonstrations and has declared that those who died will be buried by the government. He said wakekeepings and funeral processions will not be held in order to avoid outside disturbances. He called on families involved to be understanding and cooperate with government. The burial date was not set, but a committee headed by the Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Kate Bryant, and including the Ministers of Local Government and Public Works has been set up to look after the burial.
The government of Liberia has offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to the successful arrest of the leaders of the Progressive Alliance of Liberia, PAL. Those appearing on the wanted posters are Oscar Quay, James Yasia, W. Commoner Wishe, John Stewart, PAL leader Gabriel Bacchus Matthews, and S.G. Don. Those individuals are said to be the ringleaders of PAL, which will organize the violent demonstrations on Saturday.
Be required to form a line, and service shall be based on the first come, first served basis. 2. Consumers are advised to purchase only what they need and not what they want. I repeat, consumers are advised to purchase only what they need and not what they want. 3. There shall be no refund on goods purchased. 4. Consumers are advised not to rush because there is an ample supply of food in the country, despite the fact that several food outlets have been damaged. Provisional outlets may be forced to shut down if order does not prevail. 5. To enable fast service to customers, consumers are advised to purchase on a cash basis. The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Transportation urges that the consuming public cooperate and observe these guidelines as we endeavor to ensure that your immediate needs are met. The business community is also expected to extend its usual cooperation and service to the consuming public.
Gladness last Easter could bring was shattered to some extent, but restored by an arson and treason in the capital of our land. Lives have been brutally lost and property wantonly destroyed. More distressful than such blatant waste of our precious resources, our sacred laws have been brazenly defied. Our good name at home and abroad has been rudely sullied. Our cherished peace has been deeply disturbed, and our trusting hearts have been cruelly broken. Notwithstanding this serious attack from the nation, I now assure my fellow citizens that there is no need to fear. I repeat, there is no need to fear, because our cause is just. Government is firmly in control and will accordingly defend the security and sovereignty of the state at any cost. We extend our special thanks in this public manner to the militiamen from other parts of the country, especially Grand Bassa County, who came and offered their services to defend this sacred heritage. It is this spirit of total involvement and national commitment which alone will ensure the reality of the government of the people, for the people and by the people. We are convinced that the violence and destruction of the past weekend was planned and executed by criminally minded individuals, seditious and treasonous, together with a large number of foreigners, not so much to affect this studied rights issue, but merely to wreck our national stability and overthrow our government. So it was done against our solemn warning and true tested patience. I said, true tested patience. Perhaps I should have not been as patient as I was. We intend to deal mercilessly with these vicious and wicked people and all their diabolical designs and conspirators. But the lives and property of our people will be universally protected, secured, and preserved at all costs. We will not tolerate any further incidents of looting and vandalism in our city or any part of our country. In the supreme interest of the state, we have decided to exhaust the full extent of the law to safeguard our nation and preserve the state. And all will stand equally responsible before the law for acts of lawlessness against society and the state. As your president, the national standard bearer, and commander-in-chief, we therefore call upon all the people who elected us to serve them by the grace of Almighty God to stand up bravely and calmly for their country, showing neither plunder nor intimidation, as loyal and patriotic citizens. So we assure you that law and order will be fully restored. Let us then return to our places of employment with renewed energy, ever more determined to repair the harmful damages of the recent past and ensure the ultimate success of this great national enterprise, this glorious heritage of ours, this blessed land of liberty, the Republic of Liberia. May Almighty God continue to preserve us, to protect us, to safeguard us, prosper the works of our hands, and save the state.
That was a statement by President Torbert, and you're tuned to Station LBC, broadcasting from Monrovia.
You know, has that had an effect here?
Well, certainly. Anything that affects the economic condition in the States and the dollar would certainly affect us, because, you know, our dollar value is more or less tied up with the value of the dollar of the United States. And much of our trade that goes into countries that are affected by the dollar devaluation certainly must have its unfavorable reflection on us here.
What can we do? I know we're doing quite a bit, but what else? What can we do?
Well, you can do a whole lot in helping us to solve the problem of economic development, in making possible the infrastructures, some of which we have already. When I refer to the infrastructure, I talk about roads that can penetrate into the remote parts of our country, accelerating our agricultural enterprise, because our people are really now carrying on agriculture in a rather subsistent way, and we want to overcome that, introduce scientific methods so that their productivity can be increased, the standard of our living of our people to be raised, the gap between the haves and the have-nots can be breached, and we can develop a real middle-class citizenry that can come in and pool all of their resources together with all of our people in a totally involved manner to build our country empire.
Optimistic about some sort of long-range settlement?
I am optimistic. As I said, perhaps my way of thinking as against war, and it makes me have wishful objectivity in that respect, but that it's my feeling that I have a feeling of optimism.
Mr. President, as a leader of a small nation here in Africa, do you think perhaps you and others like you have a special role to play in trying to solve that Mideast thing? I mean, can you put pressure to bear on both sides and so forth?
I don't want to agree with the word pressure, because I'm an individual who rather feel that men shouldn't try to pressurize others, but at least should appeal to their better sense of reasoning and consideration and appealing, so that they would be rather conciliatory. And that with that approach, not so much from a materialistic standpoint or the point of expediency, but on the point of principle and objectivity, I think an approach on the smaller countries could certainly make an impact, a favorable impact, and suggests that an action be taken that would be better in line of peace than confrontation and war.
Do you think perhaps the solution lies in the UN, or does it have to be eventually with Israel and Egypt, for example, talking face to face?
Well, you know, the UN has been endeavoring to solve this problem from its beginning. The Organization of African Unity has lent its help. Incidentally, Liberia was among the 10 countries that had the duty of trying to mediate and make some appeal, and all have endeavored to do something. But I believe that there must be some meeting together, some coming together, in a spirit of give and take, reconciliation, and not confrontation, so that a hot war wouldn't develop. There wouldn't be destruction, because indeed, if that spirit does not develop, and there comes a confrontation and a war, it would be disastrous.
Mr. President, we here in the States that the influence of mainland China and the Soviet Union seems to be growing in Africa. Is this true?
I would say that by way of my assessment, I think the influence of China and the Soviet Union is growing in Africa.
Is there something that perhaps the United States is either doing wrong or should be doing that it is not doing, and consequently the mainland China and Soviet Union are going into this vacuum?
Well, you know, nature abhors a vacuum. I do not know what your great country thinks about it, but the world now, it's moving with such speed until people have to seize every opportunity to fill any point that might be considered open, that may be considered a vacuum, before conditions get in that might be difficult to get out. I think that it leaves with you to assess what you are doing in that direction.
I get the feeling that maybe we're not doing enough.
Well, make the assessment yourself.
Good morning to everyone. This is J. Randy here. Good morning to everyone. This is J. Randy, and welcome. It's Monday. I believe this is the final week for the month of September. I'm trying to push the month forward. So, excuse me. So this is the final week for the month of September. Well, I couldn't believe it that I said something in the past. You know, remember I told you guys in 2021 that we will not achieve anything in 2021, and we will not achieve anything in 2022, and we will not achieve anything in 2023. We will not achieve anything if we're not careful in 2024. And I believe that Liberia will only become a better country by 2065. I stand by what I think I continue to say, because if you look at 2065, it's a short distance away than the 175 years we have wasted. So the logic here is we are wasting our time. So let me say good morning to every one of you guys. It's Monday morning. Thank God for you. Thank God for your family. Please share the video. Let's have a quick chat before 10 o'clock so that we can get the day started. If your day already started, that's good for you. Mine started since 6 a.m. this morning. 6 a.m. this morning, my day started, because by 6 a.m. I'm up trying to prepare stuff. The stupid thing about it, when you're working with computer, you start your work before you even get to work. So that's the good thing. There's a good side to it and there's a bad side to it. And you know, but all in all, I'm grateful to God for you, and I'm grateful to everyone who continue to strive for the best, the good, stay away from the ugly and the worst. But we got a country, folks, and I want you to take a look. I think let me post a message here so that you guys can read it. All right. So the topic here is Liberians, we are disgraced. All right. Yes, Liberians, that include myself, we are disgraced to God, to God's gift. Yes, that's who we are. All right. God gift. Let me just apostrophe that just to make it more specific. All right. We are disgraced to God gift to human intelligence.
Of Sons is about Black America.
Thank you so much for staying put here, ladies and gentlemen. I've been very, very busy trying to finish up some homework here. And I just thought it wise to stop by and say hi to everyone. And thank you so much for staying put. Those of you who stayed to the end of the documentary I show you, thank you very much for staying put. At least you understand when I say that Liberia will not be a better country in the 2065. We think in our minds that what we see is actually going to change things. It's not. I mean, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Things will not get better in our country. It is not a curse. It is our own ways. All right. 1979, you listen to all the old news. Those of you who've been around for a long time, you listen to all the old news. All right. From October days, we have gone far away to where we were. Why? Because we are living in other people's countries now, so we don't care to strategize, to plan, to envision what should work for Liberia. No. Our ministers, our government officials, they don't live in our country. They got their investment abroad. So they just go and spend some time and make sure that they import processed food and eat it. Those who live in there, they live there at the mercy of God. When God has some of them, they travel, they just become complacent like some of us, and they don't think about going back. So I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but Liberia not going to be a better country. This is not a swear. 43 years later, we are not thinking about improving our agriculture sector. When you listen to the news, what happened then, all those that died during the Red Riot, we went to war, we had military coup d'etat. Nothing had changed in our country. Nothing had changed because we are now willing to sacrifice, to strategize, So I'm not here to argue with nobody, but I mean, you can keep praying to God, but God is not going to help Liberia. It is you out there that need to roll your sleeve up, put your brain together, and strategize. God is not going. God, Liberia is not the only country that God can help. No, that's a mistake we keep making. Liberia is not the only country on the planet. Even the people in Israel that according to the Bible that God brought from Egypt, they don't look up to God for everything. In the morning, the people in Israel will get up, they will do everything that every other country is doing right now. Only in Liberia, that everything we should depend on God. We should depend on God. We should depend on God. No, no. All right? We cannot depend on God like that. All right? No. We need to strategize. We need to look at things that will help us. All right? We need to strategize. All right? I can't believe Joey can be saying nonsense. Liberian people clapping for him. You're ready. I mean, don't insult the people, my brother. Don't insult the people. I know there are many times offline we say the people are stupid. No. Blame the ignorance. Blame the ignorance. All right? Brother Edizana Molu. Let me tell you something, my brother. When the war came in 1989, those who were born in 1980, they were either 9 or 10 years old, depending on the month they were born in. Today, those people are going to be what? Maybe 45 years old now. All right. I mean, 48 years old now, I believe. Yes, maybe. No, let's say 79, 80. Yeah, they should be around 44 now. They should be around 44. Some of them are 45. Those who were born in 1980, they should be around 41. I mean, 42 or 43. They should be around 42. All right. 42. If you're born 79, should be 43. Those who were born 1990, they should be around maybe around 38, 39. Those who were born in 2000 should be around 22, I mean 21, 22. Now, when you put all that generation together and you get to know that they all stay in Liberia, maybe they went to refugee camp, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria, and they never went to school. And then they came back. Now, those who were born in the 70s, when the war came from 1980, from 1970 to 1980, 10 years, from 19, from 1980 to 1989. Some of them were probably like, what, 19 years old. And then they went through the war. They sat down in refugee camp. Many of them came to this country. They never went to school. You are looking at a lost generation that had no education, both here and back there. And for most of them over here, you can tell the difference because they live in very nice homes, they ride nice cars, they got a good job. Up here, their sense of human intelligence is missing. And that will continue to drive the country. And for the worst part, they in a white man country. They turn around, they got this, they get this. What going to motivate them to think about a better Liberia? But just to come on Facebook and have good time and listen to different lecture. Yeah, what did people say today? What did people say today? So don't blame them. Just pray that Liberia reach to 2065 where we'll get a better generation. But I can show you this coming month, I mean this coming weekend, I mean be precise here. Saturday will be October the 1st. We got roughly about 3 more months for the year to end. From January to September now. nothing we have achieved as a country, as a people. We spend time on Facebook, listening to the wrong people, discussing the wrong thing, and the country just keep getting old, and it just keep reducing in age because of how we were brought up. Only a few Liberians around the world that really love that country, but because the high illiteracy rate, people are rejecting them. People are rejecting them. And the people who are in that country, politicians, they got no feelings, they got no sense of direction for that country. Even Comey can be president for the next 12 years. He's not going to change anything. The people he's going to be dealing with, they are illiterate. They are already writing illiterate. There's nothing you can do to make them better. The country is destroyed. The country is destroyed. These people that are in America, yeah, you can get a free visa to go to Liberia. They'll just go and see and come right back. Many Liberians, you can get a free visa, free air ticket to go to Liberia and say, go live there for the next 3 years. They'll tell you, say, I'll stay right here. I'm not going over there. The country is destroyed. And we feel very complacent in other people's country. And the complexity of staying in other people's country, it makes us very weak to even focus on our country. Our leaders are not creative. Our leaders are not putting any idea together. So that's where we are, my friend. That's where we are. Every year we find ourselves in other country. We enjoy. When we get tired, we get on the plane, we go to one state, we have vacation, we go to Liberia, we spend a few times there, we come back. But nothing improving in the country. Nothing. We can't beat at Ghana. Ghana building overhead roads, good hospital, facility. We can't beat at Kenya. All right? Can't beat those things. You see, the people that got a bigger platform, they could have been helping to educate the minds of our people. Because the people mind is destroyed. Their minds are destroyed. So when you find that in a group, you cast in a net, you should be bringing people that will educate them. But the people who run the bigger platform, they are just destroying the people. They're not giving them no sense to think. The man will come and cost you all day, but by the time you look in the evening, he call you, hey, big brother, can you send me $5? They don't know you from nowhere, but by the time you appear on Facebook, because they feel that you're together here now, they just get ready to cursing you. They don't even know who you from nowhere. By the time you rest on it small, then look at go pee, man, go do this. And these are some of the people that live in this country, outside the country, and mostly from Liberia. They don't know you. You see, when we were growing up in Liberia, we were very, very respectful. We don't have to know who you are before we respect you. The moment we know you are somebody responsible, we give you that respect. But today's generation, they don't know nobody. They just insult. They just curse you because they think that the way of life. Think about this, right? We got 5 million people in the country. The issue of race since 1979. Mama said 43 years ago. You won't tell me we cannot find solution to be able to sell and sufficiently feed ourselves? You find Liberian going to stand online. All right? Somebody say, I disagree. Liberia can get better from good leadership. Yes, you can disagree with me, and imaginarily, right? You can disagree with me imaginarily, but I'm looking at the action plan, Mr. DeLong. All right? You can disagree with me all you want, but what has happened since 175 years ago? What happened to the good leader? I don't know how old are you, but you're getting old, my friend. Just like me, you're getting old. So if you keep hoping that Labrador will be better, you are wasting your time. You will be buried before Labrador will even be better. Now is the time. You know how long you've been hoping. You're not 6 years old. You're not 10 years old. You've been around for a long time. You may envision the thing and say, oh yeah, Labrador will be better. You are living in illusions. We are talking about reality. I'm sure you got children in this country, right? I'm sure people of your peer group are left back home that you know from back home, and you and they in the same age. When you look at their life, yours is better than theirs. But they continue to hope that life will be better for them. But their age continue to increase, and there's no benefit. So when you say Liberia will, or Liberia can, these are all conditions. There is no clear pathway to your understanding, my friend. They can depend on who you're going to put in there. People leave from here, they are very clean. They go back over, they get corrupt. So how did we manage to waste 175 years that we cannot even produce our own food? When will it get better? Well, like I always say, by the year 2065, maybe you disagree with me. When I say Liberia will get better by the year 2065, you will say no, because by then you might not be alive. So you're scared. You think you won't see Liberia now? No. All right? This man you got in office destroying the mind of the young people. We supposed to pass down the generation of leadership to the young people. And you see the kind of destruction he's leaving with the people. And then he said Liberia can get better? No. It would take another century or a quarter of a century before Liberia will get better. You and I will be dead, gone. Our bone will be rotting in the ground before somebody will take on that torch. It's not in the time. If a country will get better, you can start to see the progress now, my friend. So if you keep living, that means you might not see it. So I probably agree with you. It can get better, but by the year 2065. Not now. Not now. Because your generation, my generation, we all got to die. And our grandchildren will come and help the other children back home to make Liberia better. But not for you and myself, my friend. Not for you and myself. Not for you and myself. Not for you and myself. Corruption is the cancer eating the entire country. There you go. Who is supporting the corruption here? It is the behavior of the people, right? When my brother Dylan say Liberia can't be better, who can make Liberia better? It is the same people, right? But who is feeding corruption in the society? It's the same people. So if you got people with two different minds who agree to something and don't agree to the other thing, what happened? Ghana was one time a beggar. Ghanaians were one time a beggar in our country. But today, we run into them for every little thing. Yes, we run into them for every little thing. All right? The way Joe we are now say he met with Liberians in the US and it now make it worse. Yes. Now they think Joe we are meet with some of us and will not stop calling him. Yes. The country is destroyed. The country is destroyed. We can't keep living on hope, my brother. The Bible says faith with all work is dead. You can have faith, but if you don't work towards it, it's dead. If we think we sit down in other countries and say, yes, that will be better. Yes, that will be better. No. The people on the ground destroying the country. They come to sit down here when they steal enough money, they come to sit down by the time the money finish and they go back home. Then they go get on the line again. We back again with one job. People in there 75, 65, 70. They go back to looking for a job. You just saw Baco Matthew. Isn't St. Jackson was part of the Baco Matthew era then? That's St. Jackson you see passing around here. They ain't Baco Matthew then. They were passing around. Coming we said then you heard their name right now, right? With everything they went through. Are they fighting to make Liberia better? Maybe you're missing the part of the money. You're listening to the one here. Let me take a break, okay? You're listening to the one here. Yes. All right.
You listen to the one.
And what is that God gift?
Those that
That
pay
God
the money,
gift is what we call
you try to
human
listen to this, all right?
intelligence, and that
Let
what
me
I will
try
be
to
speaking on here. So
let me
let me
drink my
just
water here.
post the message there so that you guys can see it. All right. So there go the message. Arthur Dennis, good morning, man. Good morning. I like your suit, my man. Your Sunday suit, very nice suit, 3-piece. Thank you for that. I admire your suit. Dave Kaye, good morning. Sis Rebecca, good morning. Sis Vivian, good morning. Sis Rebecca, good morning. Mike Lavala, good morning. Mike Lavala, are you related to Dada Lavala? I hope so. Dada is a very good girl, her mom. Too. But when you look at Liberia as a country, and you look at us as, please share the video. Let's have this conversation. So today I want to look at human intelligence, right? Human intelligence is a God creation for mankind. Yes, human intelligence, HR. Today we are looking at the artificial intelligence, that is the AI. But before artificial intelligence, there existed and there still exists human intelligence, which is the best and better one, because the human intelligence is a creation gift that God gave to us as human beings. And that why with that intelligence we have as human beings, we can do many things than the artificial intelligence is trying to do today. We can cook, we can run, we can sleep, we got ideas. So the human intelligence is God's gift to mankind. Every human being on the face of the planet was created in the image of God, and God gave us human intelligence. Some of us use our human intelligence for the wrong reason, because whatever we do, we benefit from it. Some people use their human intelligence for the wrong reason. But countries versus countries collectively, some countries are using collaboratively their human intelligence to make their country better. But when you look at Liberia as a country, and you look at us as people of Liberia, we have not been able to use our human intelligence to make our life better. We have been using our human intelligence for the wrong reason. And that is why since after 175 years, look at our country. But what is the definition of human intelligence? Human intelligence is a mental qualities that God gave us to be able to learn new things or learn from our mistakes, and then correct our mistake, be able to identify problems and be able to find solutions to the problems, and be able to use our solution to be able to better our life. That is just a few example or definition of human intelligence. Now, where do we fail? When I gathered this morning, I'm looking at Liberia. Today in Liberia, people are online trying to fight for better rest. But I remember in 1979, April 14, when I was still in one age number, that is from 0 to 9 years old, I was right in between there. We saw people being shot at because they were fighting for better rest. And after all the years, some of our children are about to graduate from college today. When we were still in 1 year, one age number, when people were in Liberia fighting for better rest. And in the 21st century, we still fighting for better rest. What did I say human intelligence is to us? The human intelligence is a creation of God gift to man. And what is human intelligence? Human intelligence is a mental quality that God has given to us. It allows us to learn things. It allows us to identify problems and find solutions to it. And it also allows us to manipulate things. That is the human intelligence. So what have we learned since 1979 about fighting for rights? What have we learned, folks? What have we learned? Today now we got artificial intelligence. The good countries that got good system, they say, you know what? Why don't we relax now? We as human beings, you know, we've been working for a very long time now. So let us rest now. And since God gave all they give as human intelligence, HI, good and serious country now say, you know what? It's time for us to rest a little bit now. So let make our own artificial, because artificial is man-made. Human is God-made. So man say, okay, if God make human and he give us the intelligence, guess what? We as human beings can make our artificial intelligence too. And that's why today you got your cell phone. When you get ready to say Google what time it say, Google will tell you. Siri what time it say, Siri will tell you. Turn the TV on. Google, yeah, what is today's date? Those are artificial intelligence that came from the mind of other people who are utilizing the human intelligence that God gave every one of us on the face of the planet. But when you look at Liberia, we're going nowhere because the gift that God gave us, we are not using it for the common good. Make no mistake, we are using the gift, but we are using it for the wrong reason. When you see people supporting corrupt people, they are using the human intelligence, but they are only using it to their own advantage. When you see people pray, worshiping another person or a political party, they are using their human intelligence, but for the wrong reason. But when you go to a country that says we all deserve justice, we all deserve peace, they are using that human intelligence for the common good of all citizens of that country. Now, after 175 years, we still cannot go across Liberia, drive, or do anything across Liberia because we lack the basic needs for what we need as a human being. And this is where the disgrace from us to God comes from. When the Bible says God made us in his own image, from the human intelligence, your intelligence is how you perceive things or how you see things, how you analyze it, how you find solution, and how you improve it to make your life better. That's why God made us in his own image. But we are not yet realized as Liberians that God made us. Today, you still see people fighting for better rest. When South Korea, back in the days when I was growing up in the early 80s, I used to see the South Korean embassy. There used to be nothing. We used to see people from Singapore in Liberia giving all the Gideon Bible. We used to see Ghanaians in our country until we named them Fanti Bread, Fanti Town, Fanti Fish. Because the Ghanaians during their days of struggle were all in Liberia hustling. But today, these people have managed to get their act together. They look at the human intelligence and say, look, we need to learn new things. We need to look at things that challenge us and find solution to it. We need to be able to manipulate our own environment, that is our country, and be able to make better today. Today, Ghana is excelling in every area. We sit over there and just, that country fucked up. Let me tell you right now. For me, I will die in the country here. I'm not coming to Liberia to live. You know, there are times that when you born somewhere, God got white people in black people's skin. Most of the way you find intelligent people think they either white or they are black from different countries. Somebody may say, look, I'm from Ghana, but I'm a Liberian. But the way the person is doing things, because that person look dark, the person is right. Because when you look at Liberia, the oldest independent country on the face of that continent, having been in existence for 175 years, folks. Every one of us here who are in our 40, 50, and above will remember 1979, even though they're in their 30, even though they're in their 20, if they go and read, they will know that there's something that took place in 1979 called Rest Riot, because we couldn't feed ourselves. Today, we're still talking about rest. When the Vietnamese, when the Singaporean, when the South Koreans, all these people used to be in Africa, Liberia, hustling like this. But today, these people are able to feed themselves. Japan, they were all hustling. But today they are utilizing their human intelligence and they are not doing good for ourselves. My friend, we are disgraced. We are the least among all the countries in the world. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but we walk before the eyes of God. We've been in existence for 175 years as an independent country. But prior to that, we say we just celebrated a bicentennial. You know, Liberia bicentennial 200 years, that what people can say words mean nothing. We all got, we 200 years old, but nothing we get for ourselves. We are a good for nothing country. Good for nothing country. Look at them in our place over there, and I dare you, from now to 2045, they will be fighting for back already again, online again. Those young people see fighting over there, they will become grandma and grandpa. They will still be having their part of time where they're fighting for back arrest. We got land, we got water, we got everything. But nobody is in a position to say, you know what, we need to grow our own food here. We have become so addicted to people ordering food for us. That's how we have become. I listened to a guy say he drove from Grand Gila to come to Monrovia for Becca rest. When he passed by all the big landscape, driving along the road, you see all the big landscape. That country is fucked up. Liberia is fucked up. Liberia is fucked up. The human intelligence. The human intelligence. When God created man, he gave every one of us a gift. And that gift had to do with what? Our human intelligence. The mental quality of how our mind works by learning things, learning new things, fixing old things, finding solutions to problems, and using those things for the common good to improve our lives. It is based on human intelligence. There were many countries in Africa back in the days that never understood the reason to tap into their human intelligence and what they were doing. When we, as Liberians, our parents were using US dollars, many people from different countries started coming to Liberia. Ghanaians, Nigerians, and you name them, they were coming there. But when they figured out that, look, these people are just a bunch of lazy people. They are only depending on your country that will not sustain what they're enjoying today. So let's go back to our country and begin to make strive. The morning that says Valentine, and all the country went back today and started to improve their sector. It's human intelligence. Because human intelligence is God-given. Today, we are using what? Artificial intelligence. That means the serious country, they are done using their human intelligence now. They are perfected that now to create artificial intelligence. You drive electric car, you can go to bed and then the electric car carry you to work and bring you back. That is artificial intelligence working right there, because those serious countries, some of them in Africa, they realize that, look, if we were given the gift by God to do things, now we are done it for years and years now. Let's try to create our own. Let's try to create our own. Let's try to create our own. You see, the environment gave you food to eat, right? But you cannot grab a fish from the water and just eat it raw like that. God gave you that nature. You get that fish. But what do you do if your human intelligence tells you, say, you have to cook it, and then you cook it, and then you eat it, and then you can feed that to other people? That is your human intelligence you're using over there. But we fail to use that to improve our country. Since 1847, we are only been managing Liberia. We have never improved Liberia. All the leadership in the country have been managing Liberia. If there's somebody say, please babysit for me, I'm going to come back. If you ever imagine yourself babysitting for somebody, what do you do when you babysit? You change the baby pampers. If they did number one, number two, you feed them. That's it, right? And when that person come back, you leave. That's how we went through Liberia. That is why when you go to any part of the world, you stay 30 years, 40 years, you go back, Liberia stay the same. The little changes you see is like the double the level you change the double. When I left the child in Lompen, right? But you came by the e-shopping, yeah, oh, okay. But there's nothing you have done. You've never been managing. That's what we've been doing to Liberia. All our leaders have been managing. Managing. If that person left that baby with you and went and spent 5 years and came back and see that baby now going to school in first grade, that's a tremendous improvement in that baby life. Because they left that baby when he or she was maybe 1 or 2 years old. But they are back now, that child is out of 5, 6, 7 years old, going to school and coming back. That is a great difference in our child life. But in the case of Liberia, many of you guys will agree with me that you left that country ever since. But if they can plan for you, you can go there, you can still see something and remember it when you were small. Say, I know the place where. That's how bad of the country is. That's how we have been managing the country. We have never used our human intelligence to improve that country. And do you think people are going to listen to J. Randy? No. Liberia will not be a better country until 2065. By then, we all will be dead and gone. Go around today. Look at the child who is 5 years old today. They are the one that will make Liberia better, not us. Find any 5-year-old around you right now. They are the one that will make Liberia better. Not you, not me. We fucked up. We are being condemned. We are being condemned. I don't care if you can believe me or not. We wasted 175 years. That few years from now, we will not be a better country until 2065. Those very people you saw today on Facebook fighting for Becca Red. 1979, many of them were not born. But what did we do to prevent them from incurring the same problem that you and I saw when we were little? Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. And what do we gain out of that? The same problem upon problem, adding it up, adding it up, adding it up. And you think, Joe, we are not going to solve that problem? No. I'm not too sure whether the opposition will solve that problem. Because there's no innovation in us. There's nothing in us. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. We are the least, folks. We were not created in the image of God to compete. Liberians were never created to compete. We were created to be beggars. We beg for people things. You got a land. You got a land. If a country could swap, let's say the people of Vietnam say, you come to Vietnam for 1 year, let's go to Liberia for 1 year. In that 1 year, those people will turn that country into a productive country. And we will try to reverse the people progress they made in the country because we ain't work for them. You say rest is your stable food, but you cannot even put soil in the ground. Nobody there to motivate Liberians to invest in the soil. But you will go to Freeport. Somebody driving on way Grand G coming downtown to Monrovia. You coming from a place where you got vast land, and then you say, I'm coming to Monrovia to can't get food. This is shameful. This is shameful to everyone listening to me right now here. And nobody will sit down on any platform to talk the crap. Because we are all people that just love pleasure. We love other people's things. We love other people's things. So we don't want to even challenge ourselves in our conversation. You feel so pleased with yourself. You say that in America, you say that in Europe. Yeah. You don't allow other people's intelligence. The people put America was not like this. The car you used to drive, those BB car, those gangster rapper they need to be showing. They show you BB car. You don't see those cars anymore because they have become obsolete now. They have become classic car. Now they got super cars. The thing you used to see when you first got in the country, they have now been improved or upgraded to something else. But look at Liberia today. Look at Liberia today. Nothing we have done. We are just 5 million people. We can't manage ourselves. 5 million people. People will always say when you're a single guy, you got a lot of opportunity to waste money. Right? When the Liberia population was little, we had money. We wasted it. Now the population is increasing. You understand the risks we are going to face in years to come? Liberians, we are a disgrace to God. And I challenge any soul from Liberia to come stand before me and tell me, say, what I'm seeing doesn't make sense. They don't live in the country you find yourself. Go by. We are a total disgrace to our own gift that God gave us. We cannot use our own human intelligence. What have we done to prove to God that we are better? All other countries are fighting for their own independence of staying away from begging other people. People who are sending food, the food not coming from here. Even God told the children of of Israel, that I will not give you manna anymore. Because it came a time, according to the Bible, God used to provide manna for the people of Israel. But it came a time, God said, no. You have to go and do your own. And the Israelis started. They went to Liberia at the UN. Please help us to get up, be part of the UN. We help them. But their intelligence has surpassed us today. All we can brag about, yeah, we had to make Israel to be this. But what did we do for ourselves? Bunch of good for nothing people in our government. It's a curse. It is a curse to the whole entire country. It is a curse. You just have to get out of there. You have to get out of there. You have to get out of there. I just posted it for you guys. Human intelligence. We ain't worth. We are a disgrace. Now, the good country now have created their own artificial intelligence. Okay, what we're going to do now? We're going to be running behind that now. Yeah, my man, look at my watch. My wife can say that, my wife can say that. We are a disgrace. We are a disgrace to God's creation. God made us in his own image. That means God gave us the intelligence we have. But we fail to use it for the right reason. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say we are a disgrace to God gift, the human intelligence, we are using it for the wrong reason. We are using it for the wrong reason. Not for the right reason. Look at people fighting for rest today. Many of you guys who are old enough, 1979, people were fighting for rest. But what have we done since 1979 up to present? Nothing. But what is the definition of the class A, class B, or class C? Let's look at the class A definition of human intelligence. It is a mental state. All right? A mental state that contains qualities that allow us to learn things, that allow us to identify our problems, that allow us to adapt new ideas and manipulate the ideas to improve our environment. That is what the definition of human intelligence is, HR. But what have we done with it? Nothing. Nothing. Nothing positive we have done with our own human intelligence. But we are enslaved ourselves to other people who are doing well with their human intelligence. Shame on all Liberians that we can look at our country. People that Ghana are just looking at. Liberian people fighting for rest again. Yes. The people from other people look at. The other people fighting for rest again. Yes. Look at the other one here. Randy, go sleep with your plenty talking. You are a disgrace, Augustine Jusu. You are a disgrace. You are a half a human being, Augustine Jusu. You are a half a human being. Yes. You are a half a human being. These are some of the contributors to illiteracy in our country. Yes, this guy is one of the major contributors to illiteracy in our country. You see, somebody can be telling you, you know, when George Weah show you his dog, let me tell you why I commented on that thing. George Weah is not stupid. George Weah uses human intelligence for his own personal gain. George Weah, as president of Liberia, a guy who owned dog because when he played in Europe, he went to many of his friends' homes, and the tradition of the white people is all about what? Showing the relationship between domestic animal and themselves. When George Weah was in Liberia growing up, he never had time for dogs. When you and I were growing up, many of us in Liberia, we never had time for dogs. When we came to the U.S. and began to associate ourselves with the culture, people got to know the significance of keeping a dog in your house. Even though we had dogs in Liberia, we do not treat the dogs in the eyes of animal rights. However, many of us who are coming here to this country, today we got dogs and cats and other things in our home, right? Yes. So when George Weah showed you his dog, the reason I was challenging every one of us is called fishing was to determine how well we understand what it means to treat dog or to abandon a dog. George Weah showed that dog to us to tell us that even my dog in America cannot live in Liberia. Even my dog in America cannot live in Liberia. That's how Weah decided to show to us. Because you know why? Weah should have done something with his human intelligence to prove to us that we can learn new ideas. Because human intelligence is all about learning what? New ideas. If George Weah really loved Liberia during that time, when he became president, he should have brought that dog to Liberia. And guess what? And begin to teach every one of us that the thing we call puppy KK, it can be domesticated and we can treat it right. Leaders are not there to lead us alone. They are there to teach us how to learn new things. When we were in Liberia, we never had respect for dogs. But because we came to other people's country, we started to see how people treat dogs today. We all want to be cool by putting leash on our dog going for a walk, right? What is human intelligence again? Human intelligence is the mental quality of our minds to learn things, learn new things, and put them into use to improve our environment. Mr. Weah could have done something that people would have remembered him of. The president of Liberia is walking his dog. People will learn it and they will get to see it. But we are human intelligence know that Liberia is not a place to even take his dog. So he kept his dog here, but he managed to show all his dog to say, you see my dog? That dog will not go to Liberia because that country ain't work for them. That was the reason I was trying to challenge many of you guys. He could have changed him better. But George Weah know his dog will not live in our country to stand a better chance. But he could have used the opportunity to teach us. Because we are so illiterate in many things. We are so illiterate in things. Liberians, let me tell you guys. Those are all who came to this country between 1989 to 2015. We have acquired a lot. And George Weah will destroy the generation. It takes between 20 to 21 years to hatch another generation. The least to say, our children here will grow up not knowing Liberia. And how do we fill in that gap? We might think we fill it out with incompetent people. And you see the level of incompetency why you're doing to that country today. We are digressing by progression measure. We will not make any effort in time to come. But it is sad because it will affect the people who live on the ground mainly than affecting those who live in the diaspora. Because again, we have become slaves to other people's human intelligence. Many of us who live in other people's country, we are enjoying the pleasure of their own human intelligence that made life better for us. But our own country that God gave us, we refuse to look at things from a general perspective and begin to engage them. So what do? People come here and try to provide their social engineering skill by identity. Let that man go sit down. Let that man go do this. Because you're either talking for the opposition or you're talking for George Weah. And that's why the white man, I hate to say this, right? But I will say this today. You can get fed with me all you want. That's why the white man is better than more black people, especially Liberian people. Because Ghanaians have proven that the white men are better than them. And that's why today Liberians are going to Ghana for treatment. Yes. The South African challenged the apartheid system and said, you're the white people here, you're not better than us. And today they are running the country. But Liberians believe that the white man is better than us. So we succumb to them for everything. That even when you bring an artificial intelligent person reading news, we believe it. Our addiction to being so weak to the white man as Liberian is higher than any other country on the face of that planet. Ghanaian will not say that over for white men who can't take advantage of them. Nigerian will not say that over there. In fact, the white men are afraid of Nigerian men. So African, Kenyan will not sit down over there. We Liberians, we are enslaved ourselves to the white people. Maybe we should have made a president one day that will have to change things. Because our intelligence is so low. It's so low. This is a serious problem, Liberians. The year coming to an end, nothing changed. Next year will come to an end, nothing will change. The only thing that will change will be your life. Your age. You'll be getting old, every one of us. But nothing significant will change in our country. Nothing. Because we got nobody to challenge our leaders. We're not even challenging ourselves. We're not doing a thing. For me to see people fighting for back arrest today, you got a vast land over there. There are some countries that got less land, more water, but they doing everything possible. We are just lazy set of people. We are just lazy set of people. We sit down in other people's country. They call all kinds of names. Still, we feel complacent about it. We ain't work for them. We ain't work for them. We don't work for them. The Liberian men, we ain't work for them. We ain't work for them. Since 1847, our country been like that. The 175 years we say we are after independence. Why have we really independent in our own country? We are still depending on other people for rice. Bag of rice. Then you talking about your independent country? You're fucked up. What if the people who producing the bag of rice say we're striking today, Liberian will die in our country? Because the time we take to go and fight for things. Since 19 they've been talking about food security. Joe, we are brought himself to the United Nations here. Yeah, we're going to see about food security. He even arrived in the country here. The scarcity of bag of rice. Look, American people, you are embarrassment to God. We are all embarrassment to God. All right? We are all embarrassment to God. I will be the only person on Facebook that Liberian will never like to see. Because I tell you the damn goddamn truth. You guys are slaves to the white people. You let your guard down. Human intelligence. You let your guard down on human intelligence. Let me just post it here again so you can read it again, all right? Let me post it here. There you go, right there, all right? Read that thing what I just posted there. Take your time, read it, and digest it. We got institutions that don't engage in research. We got institutions that don't even have no policy or regulation to do things. We got institutions that are dead, no action in it. Nothing. Nothing. Nobody pushing. You got Ministry of Agriculture that had no national policy as to where they want to see. Where is we have vision for the past 5 years? Where we are expecting to see our agriculture sector after 5 years? Nowhere. Nowhere. And then we are saying coming by here in December to talk about food security. Food security where? Food security where? When you cannot even plant one seed of rice in your own country. Then you talk about food security? We are one of the least countries on the face of the planet. Let me tell you right now. You like it at your goddamn business. What's going to happen this evening? You're going to sit down and go be looking at people on different platforms this evening, right? Yes. You are so addicted to entertainment. So you can't wait again for 4:30 to come the evening or 4 o'clock. Yeah, remember one spoon today? Yeah. Y'all see the same damn people over and nothing they imparting in your knowledge. But nothing but just entertainment. And you keep going there. You keep going there. When the year coming to an end, starting next week, we're going to be having at least 3 more months to go. 3 more months to go. Y'all been on that platform there from January to this time, from 2001 to this time. What you guys have learned? Nothing. But what Jeremy is giving to you guys, cover all the year you've been wasting your time over there. You guys are fucked up. Fucked up. Fucked up. The country fucked up. That country is fucked up. Let me tell you guys right now. You guys are, nobody regard Liberia. Let me tell you, nobody regard Liberia. We claim to be the foster child of America. But when it comes to election in America, who really concerned themselves about Liberian community? Nobody. But you see the Hispanic community, the Somalian community. These are community politicians will say we need to target these people. We need to target these people here. We been around these people here since 1847. We are not even a voice when it comes to politics in our country. Not even a voice in this country here. Nothing. The people know. There used to be a program they call P48 or P248, where the Americans will just get up back arrest, get up back arrest, get up back arrest. That's the same thing we still following today. The people just can't get up back arrest, whether the rest good or not, whether the rest is healthy or not. Nothing. The country is fucked up. You're fucked up. Me know you guys are watching me up today. You were young. All right? You were young. Just like myself. Today, you guys are parents today, and you still see yourself begging for back arrest. Begging for back arrest in your own country? Damn it. You're fucked up. That place is fucked up. Shame on every one of you guys. You go to Ghana when you are in the refugee camp, when you couldn't get back arrest. I remember people used to be eating futu, eating the Ghanaian food. All right? Today, the Ghanaian don't even rely on rice. The Ghanaians rely on different other type of food to eat. They rely on those things. You're just sitting down over there all day. All day you're just sitting down over there. Wow. Let me bring my man Sonny Boy on here. Let you can lecture me here smoke. Let me bring my man. Somebody send me a request. Send me a request again, Sonny Boy. Send me the request. Nobody here will challenge you. I challenge your human intelligence. You ain't got no damn human intelligence that makes sense. Every one of you guys watching me here right now, and those that listen to me, what happened to our human intelligence collectively? Y'all will tell me the truth that we failed on our human intelligence. That's what we did. We failed on it. So that's why we challenge ourselves. There's nothing wrong with our human intelligence, right? We are using it for our own benefit. But our leaders are in power. What are they doing with the human intelligence? My man said that this is the night before the back of you. Tell me. Let me put my earpiece on. Let me go through the lead. All right, I hold the lead right here.
Yeah, put your earpiece on because
man, don't tell me that. I'll let you. You can't hear my boy out. The people human intelligence, you call that lead, say red light camera, you will get ticket. I will get nobody free ticket, yo. Yes. The web up on human intelligence, they making good use of it. And now you're going to cross that red light. You cross that red light, you're getting 65 in the mail for crossing that light. So I'm crossing that light. So let me put my earpiece. Let me just put you right here. Let me put the scar there. Let me just put my earpiece and get it right. I know the right program behind me is running because having donut open, but you will not go there today. How long it behind me?
I ain't wait for you.
All right, so I can hear you now.
But you know, Jeremy?
Yes.
It's just a sad day, you know. I just been laughing when the rest issue.
Yeah.
I just been laughing. You know?
Yeah.
For us to be discussing for rest and right now according from beginner and the rest here that some of the good one are 3,000, some of the better one are 2,950.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So if you go in the bush places at number 4, that number 3, yeah, River 6, you know what I'm saying? Beyond River 6, you're talking about 5,000, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
6,000 because right now what people doing for the bush Germany, they can get together, they say no sir. They can put their money together and give it to one person to come to Monrovia, to come to Buchanan.
They put say no. Let me move it one for you. Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me? Somebody can hear me?
I hear you, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm hearing you.
Yeah, they will start hearing me. Let's see. They will start hearing us.
They say they sound good. All right. So what can happen, Jeremy? People from the villages. They're using the motorbike. Yeah, they're using the motorbike people now to carry food in the villages. So what they can do here is they will pay the transportation. If that 5,000 to come to Buchanan, because of the distance from Buchanan to the village, some distance that 5,000, that 6,000, that 4,000 distance.
Wow.
And they will put the goods together. The person will kind of buy all the goods and carry it in the village. So imagine the situation that is going on. But you know, I just want to say something. It is good, Jeremy. It all about the decision we made. I understand people are complaining, but you talk about school fees when we're paying $200 for registration for school fees. Yeah. I hear talking about food. But you talking about food. But their registration fee now is $200 US, $300 US. You're not working. You talking about food. The education is one of the most important things. When the children is not being educated right now, you the parents are talking about food. Yes, I understand, but their child need to be educated. And before the child sit in school now, it's $200, $300 US, the local school. Government school, you have to pay $75 US, $60 US government school. I tell you things serious. Because of government school, you carry 9,000, you carry 10,000 government school. Wow. You see that's about it? So, for us, decision we made, Jay Rennie. Because if people say talking about rest, LIBERIA, just for my mouth and my people, then we're gonna hear we get now.
But so somebody may ask you the question here. So people in River said, don't they have farmland over there? The government supposed to be able to come up with agricultural program, help the farmer then to start growing their own food. Teach the people how to grow their own food. They're not doing no other thing there. That's why they hard time on our people. All right, in America, they help people here to grow their food. All the food we eat in America, the United States Department of Agriculture, the USDA, they help the people here to get their equipment, everything. But since
it's a good question. Yeah, what you're saying, because the farm, listen, but the men that we are in the bush, we need support. All right, what you're saying, the people are willing to do the farm. That before I can remember on the early first year, and a lot of NGO, when they carry food, the country rest with a hook. And see, then, and give it to the farmer then in the bush. You know, there are so many NGO here doing the early first thing. That was not Jay Rennie when look at president. We are so disappointed in him because Eddie Johnson said she get hard for the country. So we are support over 5 years at Jay Rennie. I believe that she said she loved the country. She was the queen mother of Africa. She went to Harvard University.
That boy school and so but those schools mean nothing if you can't do anything for your people. Those schools mean nothing if you can't do anything for your people.
Look at us now. Where is your legacy? You say you educated woman. Where is your legacy now? What kind of legacy you said? Because tomorrow they will Jay Rennie myself here. As now you have my man do they want be yourself, your future, your family, be focused. Because Jay Rennie know as a brother to me, he said to me there, the reason I call you behind the scene for the talk because you know your family, your children is your focus, so you know what you're doing. But you sit there with all they say you love the country, you work in the NGO sector, you work with the international community, you work with Harvard University, you turn the country over to the young man up on the football field. He came from the football field. And you, President Eddie Johnson, said that you were involved into the 14 years of civil war. You aided and abetted. That's why you're talking about the TRC recommendation. Germany about LIBERIA, man. That's okay, right? And you got more time?
Yeah.
All right. So you, Eddie Johnson, telling now, you telling me, you supported a child set up with 10,000 US for 14 years of war. 14 years of civil war, you spent 10 grand. And tell them when I begin school, tell them when I begin orphanage. Then we came, you say, you came my man, you came my power, we'll vote for you. You got in power. Look at, you take responsibility on no car. Eddie taking responsibility on no car. Eddie saw when I authorized, he printed money in this country. They enrich themselves, and we can see them flying around here. They're having billions of dollars all around the world. President, we are today that because of Eddie Johnson said a wickedness to us, we say the boy love the country, the boy get the country at heart. And I want to tell President, we are good people. We will not give up in this struggle. Jay Rennie, I told you. Jay Rennie will not give up. We will never give up in this struggle because right now, airport, your mother, you cannot sit there when your mind is a jungle when she is being disgraced. You have to cover her. I will put that lava on my because she's my mother. This is our motherland, and she cannot be disgraced and being raped and being abused by our elders. And we sit there, I will be happy because my mind is naked on Broad Street. No, I will turn my face and I will go and say I will cover her with a blanket because I know she's my mother. LIBERIA the stomach will come for him. She gave her all the wealth. We get diamond, we get iron ore, Jay Rennie, we grow rubber in this country. So if our mother had been disgraced by our elders, by our leaders, we the children, we will never give up on LIBERIA. Someone always stand. We will going to the people and telling the people, look at your left. Jay Rennie, I keep telling the people there, I say I look at my left for 1991 with Jay Rennie. Then look at my left for 12 years. No,
you're gonna be buffering. Yeah, you're gonna be buffering.
Put LIBERIA first. It's not because I love Georgia. It's not because I love it's not because I love Cummings. No. Right now, we've been through a lot in this country. And when I look at these corrupt people, and then look at them, the politicians of Liberia, we're telling them now, they must listen to this show. I'm calling for way grand Basel. As somebody that can go to the village, we the people from the village will know important education. Germany, you know what it means that you go in classroom and there is no seat? You come to the village, you take our law, you take our diamond, we need education, we need hospital in the village. We need to be educated because the resources belong to us. Our farmland belongs to us. Look at asking the mentor right now. So that's why we're asking this question. If today we can be struggling that day, that decision we made through the battle back with the Liberians. I keep telling them on the radio. The reason you see us today complaining is because our decision, because we put the wrong man to the right place, Jay Rennie, but it's never too late. They're not job, we have second army. Jay Rennie, let me tell you something. He's not the one. Liberia is the country that we all believe in. I can never be deported. But this struggle, we are on ground. We make the case. Because these people, then they are complete disappointment. You can look at the country today. Education rate. Let me tell you. How many kids are going to school now? Come in. Moreover, it's not Liberia. I will tell them. I come in laugh and become a brother. I on the street every day in the community. We listen to everything that's going on. People complaining. So when I look at president, we are keep on the football fee. Where we benefited from football? Where? He came from the football fee.
Nothing.
Where we benefited from football? Because football, other country football bring development. So the president that was recognized from the football fee. And when I see him holding a Ballon d'Or, we celebrating president. We are. Oh, I love you so much when it comes to football, Joe. I support you fully when it comes to football. I've been supporting you.
Let you go back to the football now. Because let you go back to the
But it's better you go back to your football than for to take our country and put it into your hands. Can you imagine?
When the DJ Joe Biden, they finish with football, they want to be football president in their country. Somebody doing a football president in their country. So that one, nobody get down to come worry about it. The men are fail already.
But Jay Rennie, you know how many academy, you know how many that guy on Liverpool. Look at the school they made paying in the village.
Sammy Manning.
How the coin say? Manning.
Yeah, Manning.
Look at what Manning doing for his people. He was not president. Look at Manning today. And so I'm a fan of Manning in Liberia. I'm so proud of him. I share it every time. Look at Manning. Look at Samuel Ito. These guys, we give them state power. We put them in power. They were playing football. They took their money. They went back home. They go to their village. They're building schools. They're building hospitals. But President Weah had all his millions. He played world best. He did everything. And no, nobody want to tell Liberians that what happened to all Nigerians. You have to tell people told us. All the politicking, we say that the men will love. The men love the country. Education, not education.
The men lie. The men love the country. The men lie.
No, but
the men lie. No. The men say that in New York, they're telling you, we want to make sacrifice. We must make sacrifice when you get Carrasco, then they say they want big chair. Where they get the money from? You don't mind super yet. Let me tell you right now. All right?
Yeah.
That man for them, man.
You're right. Look at the man. Look at the man there. Can you imagine you talk about door? I saw the man playing with door. Other state leaders, they are discussing with other state leaders. I've been following that whole program. Look, we're in the brief with Afghan United Nations program. I saw the Ghana president negotiating with state leaders. I saw the Ghana president talking about the education leader in the world. I saw we are not educated, but somehow we know the numbers.
That man whole speech or just guarantee nobody must let
you. Man.
Nothing.
Nothing we say.
Nothing.
But what you say? Look at the mess of today. The mayor told us he brought rehabilitation for us. He built it. Allah. He just giving jobs for people. They never ever say we know. You get can't tell us say I build rehabilitation when nothing to build for us here. You lie.
Everything the man talk about you get
something. Everything you told us is a lie.
Let me tell you, the way the man lie. Today in Liberia, and you run and he became run and Marseille and I New Jersey driving. You can see me. So everything the men been talking over there, they were all lie because we see the thing every day throughout the year. We see run up for them in Moria right now, right? People fighting for right in Moria right now. Then you can't tell us, we got food in Liberia. That's a lie. We see the thing every time. All right? So the men lie. All the people are so lie. You know? The men are men, but he lie.
But how the men will look at our broad day that day you lie to all? How you can look at our broad day They are all not up or open.
No, the majority was stupid. The majority was stupid.
Nobody's stupid
We're
here.
not stupid yet. We're not stupid.
Nobody's stupid
we got
here.
camera that can see things right now. We got camera that can see things. No leader will lie to our people this time. No leader will lie to us.
No. But I in the village area, they get internet phone on. They were telling me that you lie to me.
Exactly.
I'm on the interior.
Exactly.
I get internet phone in the interior. Then why you will lie to me now? You can't lie to me.
You know something about the reason I labor, the independent camera guy in the guy there, you don't have a way for them good for nothing generally I better in the weed. And no generally better in the weed. That's why they can't report the real thing. But guy there, they can come out and say your own thing, we can see it. Because not generally they're better in the weed. So they can tell you. The president lied to the people. That man lied to the people. All that report was so lie. All that report was so lie.
Everything the method are so scared. Look,
let me tell you much about that man. Let me tell you much about that man. Much about that one count. Let me tell you quick. That much about that one. Yeah, let you count. Let you count. Let you count. Let me bring much about that. Let much about that to you. All right. Let much about that to you today. Let much about that to you today. Let you count. Let you count to you. All right, Majabate, I know you are touched today, so let's get to it now. All right? I'm telling you now, Majabate, in area, all right? And parent from Nigeria, that president lied to you, Majabate. He lied to you. All right? You can back in the day, it used to be a very good place where we enjoy. When I found level, I went to Morovia. I condemned Morovia. All right? So, I am telling you, Majabate, Joe, we are lied to you. I give you the floor. Go ahead.
And what's the argument?
The argument the president gave inaccurate information. What is happening on the ground over there is not what he told the people here. He lied. He lied because we got evidence that are shown all around. You, Majabate, travel the country and I follow you. You show the challenges in insecurity. You show the challenges in land dispute. You show the challenges of schools not being built. You show the challenges of most of the things that people need as part of the essential life needs. That is what I'm trying to tell you. He lied. He did not follow the UN agenda as well. He lied. He lied. No government office has reported any information on their performance in our country. He lied to you. He lied to you.
I agree with you. I agree with you in some areas, and there's a lapses in this government, and you don't expect the president to go and denigrate himself at the summit.
So he must lie. So he must lie. So he must lie.
That's what I said. You don't expect the president to denigrate himself. He would say things that will promote himself to promote his regime. And
but is that right? Is that right? Is that right? Is that the right thing to do?
That's what I've just told you.
No, but I'm asking you, is it right to do that, Majabate? Is it right?
No, you can be the judge, brother. In politics, you don't have to denigrate yourself. You have to promote yourself. Everybody needs promotion. So he went there and promoted himself. But my argument here is that every time we all talk on social media, every time we all post nonsense on Facebook, every time we talk, but the educated men and women in this country, they are saying that Liberian people are suffering. They are saying that Liberia, there's an insecurity in this country. They are saying that our people are going through economic hardship. These educated men and women, they could not manage their own collaboration. They fight among themselves. And every day they are denigrating themselves on the internet. What do you expect us to do, my brother?
Okay, that's a very good question, right? What I expect us to do is to be better than them. Is to learn to tell the truth. If we challenge in certain area, we should tell the person they want to have or we can't make it. If we need help, we should tell the person we need help. If we incompetent, we should say we're incompetent. That's what
you are not discussing the point I'm driving at. I just told you.
You asked the question, you make a case. You make a case. You said all the educated people that came before Mr. Weir, they made all the noise. They did nothing good. Now Mr. Weir is there. What do we expect Mr. Weir to do? Mr.
You are misleading me. You are misquoting me.
Okay,
I did not say
go back again. Go back again and say it. Go back
Let
again.
me get back to
go back. My bad. I take it back. Go back again. I'm sorry. Go back again. I'm sorry.
Educated men and women in this country, if these people have the country at heart, and they know our people are suffering, they know our people are dying, They know our people are going through economic hardship. Everything has collapsed in this country. You understand? Whether socially, economically. These guys that said that they are coming. They are well schooled from the Harvard University, for the Columbia University. They could not manage their own collaboration in order to replace President George Weah. That's my argument.
That's my argument. Look, I understand your argument. My argument here is George Weah lied to the people. George Weah is the president. George Weah want to get re-elected. Listen to me, my brother. I know you got your point.
Do you think everybody, politics are lies again by yourself?
Okay, so when he lied and we got the lie, we got to say it out. When he lied, we got to catch the lie, we got to say it out,
Okay, brother. I think everybody have their view. You have your view. And I don't want to go into the argument. I'm just want to tell you that if these guys, these so-called politicians in this country, if they fail to unite, when they fail to unite, President Weah will go for 12 years. Nothing can stop 12 years.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that one. I agree with you on that one. No argument. I agree with you on that one. I agree with you.
They sat there. They puppets. This guy, they blackmailed Henry Pedro Costa. He went after everybody. He abused everybody. He insulted everybody. At the end of the day, where is the CPP today? The Darius DeLong is one of the intelligent crook that I ever seen in my life. Intelligent crook. They are not saying the truth. He brought Musa Berete, he honored Master Zago and brought in Musa Berete. What do you expect to do?
But he tracked people. He brought the people there and he ran away. He tracked them. That was Robert said he called you a funny man. If you remember one time, Robert said he said DeLong is a funny man. All right? So
you should not mind the hatred against the president, then we can't put our horse in order.
No, but the president is the president. I agree with you. The opposition need to get it out together. I agree with you on that one. All right?
My argument.
Yes. But whatever we are doing now too, Mike, we need to expose the thing he's doing too. We need to tell the people that he's lying. We need to tell the people
I agree with you. But what can be the remedy? What can be the solution? What can be the everybody when you speak it, when you support President Weah, other people insult you. You support coming other people insult you. If politics does not go that way, it does not go that way. Everybody have the right to associate themselves with any political party around here. But the movement you say you defending President Weah, some idiots will come on social media to insult you. You saw what happened to the Costa Day, how you destroy the CPP. And you saw how you destroy the CPP, referring to Arizona Comey as gay. You understand? The old man Baka is there. That old man is weak. He's soft. And he is not. I don't think he can stand the political tension in this country. With the level of political tension.
He's not strong. Real campaign, he can make it. I'm not doing much about that. Real campaign, he can make it. Real campaign, he can make it. Real campaign, he can make it. So I agree with you, Napa.
To conclude, the best politician, the consistent politician I ever seen in my life, the man that I respect in this country, the man that can say the truth, and this man is consistent, is Yake Koluba. That's the man I respect.
That one, I agree with you. That one, I agree with you. Take away the cursing, I agree with you. He may be a radical, but he's radical for a reason. I agree with you because the way they treated him, I agree with you. He just need to fix something on his side, that's all.
You have a society where illiteracy rate is high. You have a society where how many politicians willing to go to Kumbo? How many politicians willing to go in Kumbo?
No, they won't be in Morocco. They won't be in Morocco.
People will say, Majabate, you're inconsistent. I agree. But politics, there is nothing in political science called inconsistent. You understand?
You will not take the rest out. You will not take the rest out. And then they say come in him too.
Where is this man, Jeremiah Slanted? He resigned for the ANC.
Yeah.
He joined the CDC.
Yeah.
Where is Eddie Memmi Snow, who supports the United Party?
Yeah, from NPP, the United Party, now he back to CDC.
Where is this man, Uri? Uri said, never
vote for United Party. Yeah.
He's supporting Baka today.
Correct.
You understand? Where is Besa Gafine? Besa Gafine from the United Party to the CDC, right?
There you go.
There is nothing you call what you call.
Don't guide them there. They're better in the week. Don't mind those guys out there. Those guys who say people flip-flopping, they're better in the week. They will have to defend their little money they're getting. All the examples you get here, you are quite right. All right?
Let me tell you something. As I speak to you, I'm in Grand Cape County now.
There you go.
Most of the idiots that are on social media, they don't travel than me. As I speak to you, I'm almost to the civilian border.
There you go.
I just came to a place here to say there, I just want to do a video here. So
go around with the camera. Show the play. Let me see. Show the play.
Why don't you do the camera or something here?
Just turn around. Just turn around. Just turn around. You know how to. There you go. Just turn around. There you go. Look at that landscape. Very good landscape. Very good landscape. Yeah, very good landscape. There you go there. There you go, man.
There we go there.
Yep. There you go.
I just want to say something. There's so many idiots on social media. They're always insulting people.
Don't matter, man, Mike. You gotta do what you believe in, Mike. You gotta.
What is going? This road is going to the border.
Yeah.
There is. I'm in Teni area right now as I speak to you. I'm in Teni area.
Yes, sir.
But this road is going to Teni.
Yeah.
If a lot of cars here, they will go straight to Teni.
Yeah.
Over there. You understand?
Yeah.
There is the Sierra Leone border. We interact with citizens every day.
Yeah.
But most of the guys on social media, they only come on social media to insult people. You understand? I have traveled so many times in villages, and I know people respect me. Even Edisana come and visit my project site. Even Baka visit my project site. And I know what I go through every day.
You're doing well.
But some guys will only come on social media, they want to insult Majabate. But I can tell you for sure, if the opposition fail to unite, this man will go for 12 years.
Of course.
They must unite.
Of course.
Baka is so weak and soft. Baka should have been the one to solve the problem within the CPP today.
The man will compromise. Yes, the man will compromise. Baka will compromise. He will compromise. He allowed you and to use him. He allowed Kosa to use him. He will compromise.
Okay. That's how we go to, brother.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike.
Brother.
Yes, sir.
That's how we go to. If you want to insult me, anybody can insult me.
Don't matter, man. Don't matter, man. They're weak.
Popular. And my knee is a hustle knee in Liberia. Whether you like it or not.
Absolutely.
Whether you like it or not. I thank you, brother Rane.
Take care. Take care. We'll be in touch. Take care.
Salam alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Take care, my brother. Take care.
Wow.
So that was my job. Guys, I mean, I can only give you 10 minutes because I have to go to the office immediately. So let me see here. I think somebody let me bring my man President Mon on here. All right. So let me bring President Mon out here. I mean, thank you guys, for the discussion this morning. If you missed the video, please go back because we started with a very important topic that drew a lot of people together here today. So, President Mon, I'm adding you on. You should be able to count in my man. Okay, there you go. So, my man, what you going to do? You can be about here the money too.
Man, I'm not making confusion. I mean, what Mark Jabate says is the truth.
Yeah, but
Georgia is going to win the second term.
Can you move your phone? Take your phone to center back.
Oh, man,
there you go.
Mark Jabate is right. When you have an opposition that cannot separate himself from the ruling party, you make it impossible for people to make better choices. Look for United Party government, even when Georgia became president, how in the world United Party can dominate the legislature and Georgia gets everything that he wants? Like the instances Mark Jabate gave with the Snow, with the Dillon, and all these guys. Yeah. They confuse the voter. If you call yourself educated, you should make informed decisions. Yeah. You know that the illiteracy rate in the country is very high. You know there's a generational shift. Children born after 1990, they are not inclined. They don't understand things that you see it. But you haven't been able to differentiate the opposition from the ruling party. They all operate the same. So how do you expect a kid in the Kumba like Mark Jabate is showing you, or the southeastern region that have no experience, never traveled anywhere in the world, knows nothing? How do you expect them to make better decisions? This is why people we are always relevant in our politics. Yeah. Because the people that are supposed to know better, they don't even think like educated people. That's where the problem is. He talked about VP Bwaga. VP Bwaga will not compromise. I don't know that word compromise. He's an opportunist. He always takes political advantage of situation. Man, he uses silence. You make it work for After that Omen, that will be the last person I will put in like, bro. That Omen is an opportunity. If you monitor the 2017 election, when the legs of the Supreme Court justice that will kick off the court. Yeah, Kabina Jare. When Kabina Jare came out with the idea and the Bronskin and said, no, this election, the number is not reflecting the way how the people voted. It was not done right. What he did, he never supported them because he thought going into round number 2, it would play to his political advantage. So he wasn't interested in the numbers or how the election was conducted because for him, he thought he was already in second round. But what he never understood was they inflated his number to get him, knowing that United Party Brown already destroyed. You were the easiest candidate to beat in the second round. But he never understood that.
So
That's how we went.
So he saw that as an opportunistic opportunity.
Oh yeah,
so
to get to round number 2, that he calculated. That's why they beat him in 14 counties, because the number we got in round number 1, it never reflected the will of the people. So we went to round 2, it exposed his vulnerability. You saw it with the CPP framework document. This man called himself an elder statesman. He's the oldest in the whole group with more political experience than anybody else. You set up for some kid that wake up every morning and talk nonsense on the radio to manipulate bunch of men. You knew that nobody tampered with the framework document. That was a blatant lie. You have a 21-page document written in simple English, and you're telling me that somebody manipulated the document that you cannot read and understand? You have 3 copies of the framework document. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at 3 documents to tell changes that were made to it. It's not like one was written in Hebrew, Greek, or Latin. They were all written in simple English. But guess what? He thought it would play to his advantage again. So he compromised the entire CPP because he thought it was to his advantage. He's an opportunist. And he keeps showing it over and over and over. But our people, the problem is they don't have that ability to change. When it's for somebody, no matter what, that's what happened. It was what destroyed the CPP. If you say this man, the argument that they made on the document was the exit clause. Okay, the exit clause never benefited a single candidate.
True.
So let's just say, for hypothetical reason, there was an exit clause that said everybody should be band together no matter what happened with the CPP. Wasn't that in the best interest of the CPP so we don't disintegrate?
Of course,
just for hypothetical reason. So even if there was an exit clause, it means the exit clause was there to ensure that the CPP remain no matter what happened. But guess what? I don't know people who call that man wise. I don't know of a wise man who served as president for 12 years. I really don't know. But brother, I only think people just think because when they support a candidate, no matter what they do, they will still support them. How do you look at a simple document and claim that it was fraud? You go and bring a whole international body, or a forensic corporate or company to come and do an assessment of the document. And the people like, this is a waste of resources. This thing is so simple that even an elementary student could read it and know exactly what happened. But it was all about the politics. Because like I said, that's why they came up, the first time they came up with the whole block voting. Like what I tell people, I say, the CPP was never formed to create competition. It was formed to coronate Joseph Boakai. Anybody who challenged Joseph Boakai, it means you are an outsider, you are a deviant. That's why people are coming in today, they are called, you see, it was an illusion. For the CPP, for the CDC coalition, they came out with their decision. Georgia is, by unanimous consent, is already a presumptive nominee. So when you come in our collaboration,
and you had the advantage too. You had the advantage too.
So when you come into our collaboration, you either come second, third, or fourth. We already get our men. But in the CPP collaboration, we pretended to say it was a competition. That was a lie. It was never a competition. It was meant with the sole intent of making Joseph Boakai the presumptive nominee.
But they thought Cummings was going to fall for that. But
that's why they thought. The thing with Cummings was, that's why I said, until Cummings can tell us who really came up with the idea of forming part of that CPP, it just don't make sense. Because what are the political incentive of being part of the CPP? When you enter the CPP, it was 3 against 1. You were already 4. It means you're already an outsider from the onset. Because as far as I'm concerned, Benin Ayere and Yomli Kaka only auditioning for a vice presidential role. That's why it was all about. So how do you go into a collaboration with 3 already against 1 and you expect to compete? So they knew it was already set up for them. That CPP would never work. I don't think it will work. And there's a high probability.
Here's the thing. It will work since those guys have left, because the guys then who came in with that idea, you already know they got all of that body now. So they carry Boakai now with no competition, right? You heard the guy last time. So
that was the original intent.
Coming between the CPP, he's not going to hustle around to get other guys who will come in the CPP. But the Boakai people, then they're done.
So as far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm concerned, the most we can do right now, everybody go that separate when we just go for the Hail Mary. If anybody from the opposition gets to round number 2, we will try to support it. If we cannot get it,
we will explore. We will explore. Because money die over there. Money will die over there.
The vulnerability, I mean, the how they call it, the damage being done to the CPP, I think is irreparable. Let's just go for the Hail Mary. If Georgia wins, that's it.
Well, let's see what Cummings vision is. He can still get other people to join, but thanks.
All right, man. Thanks for the time, brother.
All right, bye now. Sonny boy, my man, I need to go into the office now, Sonny boy. I want to bring you up for 1 minute. I don't even see you here. Yeah, I don't even see you here. So let me get out of here, guys. I burned in 10 minutes of my time here now. So I would like to say a big thank you to every one of you guys. If you missed the show, please go back to the beginning. We spoke about human intelligence, and I stand behind the definition of that human intelligence, and I still believe that we are not doing anything much. So I have to run now. Sonny boy, if you listen to me, I got to run. All right, I got to run. We'll do that another time. We can't finish all the topic today. The discussion ends, but the issue continue another time. So yeah, let me go to work. All right, guys. I see y'all later, man. I burned some of my time. I got to go now. All right. Bye, guys. 10 o'clock is 10 o'clock. Bye-bye, guys.